watermelon.
Welcome to a gorgeous day at the home of the Crimson Tide, Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. Final home game for 18 seniors today as the Tide plays host to the Rebels of Ole Miss. Good afternoon, I'm Bob Carpenter. Similar situation here 4 years ago. Ole Miss pulled the big upset. They haven't beaten Alabama since, and they've won only once here in the entire history of this 40-game series. But Alabama has a better defense this time around. They are totally dominating their opponents. Tim Foley, as an old defensive back, you can appreciate what these guys are doing, only giving up 6 points a game.
And Gene Stallings talks about it's a very unselfish defense. No superstar attitudes, everybody working together. And it's a defense that's led by two monsters at defensive end. Eric Curry is Lombardi semifinalist and a better pass rusher on the right side. But John Copeland's probably a better all-around defensive end, good against the run. You ask a coach which one of these guys he'd rather have, it'd be like asking my son Tommy if he'd rather have a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. You know, both great players.
If I'm your kid, I'd take the cash. Let's talk about the Bama offense. Derek Lassick, the guy that's mostly responsible for them getting better and better every week.
Well, Alabama's not going to beat you throwing the ball this year. They're going to give it to this rascal. He carried it 33 times against Tennessee, got knocked around, but got 142 yards.
Ole Miss will blitz a lot. They'll give a lot of different looks in what Joe Lee Dunn calls that split defense. They were great against the Razorbacks last week. But we'll talk a little Ole Miss Rebel offense. And Corey Philpott, a guy who went to the junior college ranks, had a rather quiet junior season last year. And as a senior, he's really burst on the scene in this league.
Well, Larry Beckish has simplified the offense here at Ole Miss, and this guy, just give him the ball. He heads north and south, had a great game last week against Arkansas. 300-yard games this year, doing very well.
The rest of the SEC West is looking to Ole Miss for some help today. The Rebels are in second place at 3-2. Alabama unbeaten at 4-0. They're on a line straight up the road to Birmingham unless the Rebels do something about it today. And ironically, their friends, the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, rooting for the Rebels today to knock off this team right here in Tuscaloosa. We've got more coming up. Ole Miss and Bama.
There was no problem with the insurance, but when the car got back from the shop, I told Joe here that it just didn't look right.
See, that's where Nationwide's Blue Ribbon Claim Guarantee kicks in.
I gotta say, Nationwide really went to bat for me. It got fixed.
That's the deal. Satisfaction guaranteed in writing.
Joe's right. That's a big difference.
Oh, it's one heck of a difference.
Agents like Joe are Nationwide.
Nationwide is on your side. Take a look around me at a place like none on land. Sail away now, you'll find me.
Call this toll-free number now for an 8-day December 19th holiday cruise to the Eastern Caribbean. A limited number of cabins are still available, all at $500 off per cabin. 7 glorious nights, round trip from Miami on Royal Caribbean's award-winning Sovereign of the Seas. Call now and save $500 per cabin on this fabulous 8-day Eastern Caribbean holiday cruise. Certain restrictions apply. Space is limited.
Before we ship a new Buick LeSabre, it must meet an international standard of excellence. If it fails to meet a single electrical check, if the aim of the headlight isn't true, if the seams are not measured to the millimeter, we don't ship it. So if you buy a Buick LeSabre for its quality, you won't be missing the boat, even though it doesn't come by boat.
Excuse me, do you know what stock options are?
I wish I did.
The information you know you should know is in the Wall Street Journal's video guide to money and markets. This exclusive 30-minute video is free. When you call for 13 weeks of the journal for just $37, that's over 20% off the newsstand price.
Call toll-free 800-472-3500 for 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and your free video on money and markets. That's 800-472-3500.
Well, about 6 weeks ago, when we opened the season here in Tuscaloosa, Bob Kessling needed oxygen and a little air conditioning on the sidelines. A little better down there today, huh, partner?
Well, I tell you what, nice breeze down there. Perfect day for football. The quarterbacks is something we'll keep an eye on early in the game. Jay Barker last week against Tennessee hurt his right elbow. He banged into the turf at Neyland Stadium. Now, he said it's not bothering him, but he is wearing a pad, as you can see, on his right elbow. The question is today, if he gets that arm hurt again, if he falls on it, how much that affect his throwing. We'll keep an eye out on that. Also, Ole Miss concerned about their quarterback, Russ Shows. Now, he's been a little bit inconsistent this year, and of course today he faces the toughest defense in the conference. How will he react? So the quarterbacks could be a key early.
Alabama throwing the ball about 15 times a game and averaging 148 yards through the air per game. And of course their defense will put a lot of pressure on Russ Shows and the Rebels offensively. Kickoff coming up. Back with that after a word from your local stations.
Your Train dealer has a deal you can't afford to miss. A free gas furnace. Buy and install this XL 1200 air conditioner and matching coil, and your Train dealer will give you this XC78 gas furnace absolutely free. A natural gas furnace means lower utility bills and warm air comfort.
Call Chase Heating and Air. Get the facts on the free gas furnace and how you can get low-interest financing through Chattanooga Gas Company. Don't wait. Call Chase Heating and Air today.
The Marshal has given you just 30 days to get out of town during his vacation van sale. Save up to $3,900 on a large selection of custom vans, maxed out with TVs, VCRs, dual air, and lots more. Or over 20 Aerostars, America's favorite family sport van. Don't miss this chance to get away from it all in style. See the Marshal for the best car deal in town. Marshal Mize Ford, Highway 153 at Hickson Pike.
Jim Walters Air Systems.
When people are satisfied with their heat pump, they pass the word along, and we appreciate it.
We want to service the product after it's installed, and we want to keep the people happy.
Most of our business, I would say, is repeat business. People get to know you personally.
From start to finish, we do the whole job. We don't subcontract the electrical part out.
At Jim Walters Air Systems, we're real people dedicated to our customers.
The curtain's about to rise on a great performance. Profits Anniversary Sale. We're getting ready to shine, spotlighting the season's premier fashions and setting the stage with dramatic store-wide savings on all the big-name fashion and home accessories you want and need. It's a singular sensation from the opening act. Don't miss the season's biggest hit, the Profits Anniversary Sale. The star-studded savings ends Saturday.
Alabama rated number 4 in the nation by the Associated Press with a record of 7-0. They're unbeaten in league play, and they've won 17 consecutive. But the last time Billy Brewer brought his team in here, they were a 22-12 winner back in '88. And they had Bama down on the mat in '89 in Jackson, could not hold on to win, blew a 21-0 lead. So the head coach knows his team can play with these guys. But what about the defense? We'll wait and see. It's a delightful day. Wind not much of a factor. Humidity down from the last time we were here, and mostly sunny skies forecast for this gorgeous October 24th afternoon in Tuscaloosa. Alabama has beaten Ole Miss here 13 of 14 times. This is the 40th meeting in this series. They played this series in 8 different locations when these teams have met. And the Rebel on the road. One state to the east is psyched up for this one today. Michael Proctor, the freshman place kicker, is the kickoff man. Joe Woods and Mark Smith, the kickoff return men. There's Woods with a good 22-yard average on kickoff returns. Alabama won the toss. They deferred, and Ole Miss decided to take the football.
Bob, Ole Miss got to try to make something happen on special teams sometime throughout this game.
Proctor drills it halfway into the end zone, and Mark Smith says, forget it. Now we'll have a look at the Rebels of Ole Miss for the first time, led by their senior quarterback, Russ Shows. He goes 6'4", 215 out of Senatobia, Mississippi. This year he's completing 53% of his passes. There he is, number 14.
And Larry Beckish has brought a new offense in here, and Russ is really more of a drop-back guy, pure passer type, and Beckish is more of a trap option coach. So what they're doing, they're caught in the middle between the quarterback and an offense.
Single man behind him. He'll throw on first down, and it's complete out to Small on the right side. Eddie Small, a 6'1" junior out of Jacksonville. with his 26th catch of the year. Bottom of your screen, he is their leading receiver. Corey Philpott, the tailback. Marvin Courtney, honorable mention All-American at fullback last year. McLeish, the tight end. And Jermaine Kahn, the split end. Up front, they go with Everett Lindsey. He was an All-SEC All-American last year. In his third year as a starter, Holcomb, Monkus, Melton, and Conley join him. They got 6 yards on first down. Now they're in the eye. Play action out of the eye, and it's drilled over the top. And it'll set up a very quick third down situation for the Rebels of Ole Miss against that Alabama 34 defense. The bookends Copeland and Curry, flanking the nose tackle James Gregory. They've got some good linebackers. Michael Rogers and Mario Morris alternated that left inside backer position, and they are experienced in the secondary. George Teague plays 3 of the 4 positions. On third down, Ole Miss has 3 wide receivers in there, and they go with a draw play. Corey Philpott looking for first down yardage. He appears to be short as he was wrestled down by the right inside linebacker Derek Oden, one of the 4 team captains of the Crimson Tide.
And they are just excellent. They're talented and they're well coached on defense. Oden and Rogers in the middle, with London flanked by London and Hall. Fourth down, they've just been nasty to the opposition. And Gene Stallings was talking about them with pride as he reflected back on those defenses of the early 60s that were so stingy when it came to giving up points.
David Palmer has returned one for a touchdown against Louisiana Tech this year. He has 4 punt return TDs in his career. The left footer Chisholm with a low one. It'll be tough and impossible now to return as the ball will rest outside the Alabama 30-yard line. A 33-yard kick. Rebels going nowhere on their first possession. It'll be Jay Barker's turn for Alabama. Barker, a 6'3" sophomore. He goes 209 out of Trussville, Alabama. This year he's completing 54% of his passes. He's thrown for 4 touchdowns, and he's had 4 picked off.
And Jay Barker's growing all the time. He only played a year as a quarterback in high school, so he's still in the learning process.
And he'll throw it out to Palmer on first down. Good coverage by the Rebels, though. All over him was Johnny Dixon, the strong safety. Barker with the tailback Lassick, Martin Houston the fullback, Prince Wembley, Kevin Lee, and the tight end Steve Buskey, a very experienced receiving corps. Up front, they are a veteran crew, except for John Stevenson. He's just a sophomore, but he was a third-team freshman All-American last year. Hammond, a junior, Wilson, a senior, Shields, a junior, and Roosevelt Patterson, a junior. Second down and 10. Lassick. He'll be over the 35, out to the 37-yard line. Against the 50/multiple defense of the Rebels with Ford, Mays, and Brown up in the middle. Mays, nicknamed the Mule. Cassius Ware, he's a guy who can make some things happen with Dwayne Dotson, all those sacks against Arkansas. Jackson moves 2 linebacker off the line this week, and then 5 men in the secondary. Johnny Dixon, an honorable mention All-American as a sophomore last year. He is a vicious hitter. The guy who made the play on Palmer a moment ago. Crimson Tide on 3rd and 6. They will swing Curtis Brown around to this side. And then Jay Barker, with everybody trying to find where they're supposed to be, calls a timeout on the first possession. We're only 3 minutes in, no score. Bama faces 3rd and 6.
You probably think the best American car value is some little econo box you have to settle for, right? Nope. It's a Buick. The luxurious Buick Park Avenue. That's according to the Complete Car Cost Guide. They calculated the 5-year cost of depreciation, financing, insurance, fuel, maintenance, and repairs, and found that Park Avenue is the best American car value. For a free reprint from the Complete Car Cost Guide, call 1-800-4-BUICK.
David Robinson.
Take the time.
Take Albert. Take Ike.
Take it deep.
Take a breather. Take a shot.
Take it all.
Now.
Mr. and Mrs. Ward have a little bet going. If she can install the ceiling fan, he'll put in the bathtub she wants.
Need some help?
So she went to Lowe's for a how-to clinic and everything she needed, all at guaranteed low prices, and he made sure Lowe's had all the plumbing supplies. Lowe's, helping add value to the homes on Raymond Street and your street. So now Mrs. Ward will enjoy her new fan
Need some help?
almost as much as she'll enjoy watching her husband install that new tub.
When you don't have to send your package overnight, you can save yourself a bundle.
What a difference a day makes.
2-day priority mail service
24 little hours.
from your post office. Send up to 2 pounds in just 2 days for just $2.90. That's right. That's some difference.
What a difference a day makes. We deliver for you.
Alabama trying to move the ball as they try to roll up the road to Birmingham for the SEC championship game. Ole Miss has to win today to stop them from doing so. 3rd down and 6 for the Tide. Palmer in motion near side. Barker with a drop and a look over that way. He pumps, and now he's got it long, and it's beyond the reach of Prince Wembley. Tony Collier, the free safety, on good coverage for the Rebels. And Ole Miss stops Alabama first time out.
Alabama coming out expecting the blitz from Ole Miss, and you ought to expect the blitz from Ole Miss because if Joe Lee Dunn's coaching the defense, he's going to come after you. That time, Ole Miss played a zone. One of the things you're not going to see much. Alabama tries to go over the top. Good coverage by the Rebels.
Brian Deal on the punt. He's got a good-looking one inside the 20-yard line. And it is Jermaine Kahn, a wide receiver who plays on special teams, on a punt that hung up in the air for almost 4.5 seconds and covered 46 yards. Rebels will have pretty good field position just inside their own 35-yard line.
Ole Miss is playing against a defense that isn't going to give them much room. And so during the course of this game, they're going to have to try to make something happen on special teams. They're going to have to try to work to get an advantage here. And that also will be tough.
Pretty good return. At the 33-yard line, Rush Shows leads them out. And dancing through the hole, up over the 45-yard line, is Corey Philpott, a senior from Melbourne, Florida. He played JUCO ball at Itawamba a couple of years ago. He went for 2,300 yards in 2 years, and he's coming off a 123-yard game against the Razorbacks.
And the best way to attack this defense, they're so quick and they pursue so well, might be straight ahead. You know, Joe Wickline, the offensive line coach, talked about trying to get some angles up front and trying to keep his people from being one-on-one all the time with his great Alabama defensive line.
That was a 15-yard play on first down. There's the fullback, Courtney. He's into Alabama territory, down to the 42-yard line. Marvin Courtney, a junior out of Greenville, Mississippi. And he'll be up near 200 yards today with his next carry or so. He gained 454 a year ago.
You see Wesley Melton, number 79, good trap block on Curry. They'll probably try to run the ball more towards number 80. He's not quite as good against the run as he is as a pass rusher. And then a nice job of running by Courtney, who is a former tailback.
This isn't always bad, you know, when you don't make it on first down. When you've got 2nd and inches, well, in this case, the first down, the ball, nose of the ball just did get there. Sometimes it's almost better not to make it on that play. You can do so many things on 2nd and 1 against a tough defensive squad.
That's exactly right.
But they have another first down, and they've done 2 plays in a row for first down yardage. And there's Billy Brewer, who previously was a head coach at Southeastern Louisiana, then Louisiana Tech. Played in the NFL and the Canadian Football League for a while. Little play action to Philpott. Over to the near side, and it's broken up. Antonio Langham, the left corner, covering Eddie Small.
You know, I hate pass interference, but if they're going to, well, we'll see this again.
On the near side, a flag and a signal of pass interference.
Oh, there is a flag. I didn't see the flag come down.
I saw an official signal pass interference. I'd never have spotted the flag.
Pass interference. Defense. Automatic first down. Spotted a fall.
Yeah, the flag was thrown right on the near sideline at the 32.5-yard line. Antonio Langham, the man, 43 on the coverage.
They're going to try to keep Shows on the move. You don't want him standing still with Curry and Copeland aiming at him. And Langham just gets there just a moment too soon, and good call.
First down at the 32. Showers a little too tall. That one tipping off the hands of his flanker, Jermaine Kahn.
That's what John Copeland worked. And John's out of Hines Junior College. This is his second year at Alabama. Probably their best defensive lineman. You see him, great hand movement. He works his way around Melton and gives Shows a whack as he lets the ball go.
Number 94, the SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Only had 4 tackles at Tennessee, but 3 of them were for losses. 2 of those were sacks. Second down and 10 against this tough Bama defense. And a little inside give. Nothing there for Corey Philpott. John Copeland all over him.
But somebody said to him to said something to him to get him mad. Now, he takes it inside. This might have been a missed block here. He shouldn't come that clean on a play like that. Those defensive linemen will move around up front to try to confuse the offensive linemen, and I'm sure that Wicklion's got a couple of schemes in here that are different in terms of protection.
3 wide receivers on 3rd and 12.
Been awfully stingy on 3rd down, this Alabama defense.
Ole Miss 35% this year. They throw the screen, but it was dropped. The ball was a little behind Eddie Small, and he may have been checking to see where his blockers or tacklers were before he caught the football. Derek Oden from inside linebacker providing quarterback pressure. And it looks like they'll bring out the place kicker, Brian Lee.
Well, Billy Brewer's got to be happy with that drive. An Alabama defense hadn't seen that much all year as far as the sustained drive. Good job by the Ole Miss offense, but once again, the Alabama defense stiffens.
His longest this year, 49. This from 51, drifting to the right, and no good. So the game stays scoreless. 5 minutes and 25 seconds into the first quarter. Nothing happening yet. Back after a word from your local stations.
After years of building houses for folks, I'm finally going to build mine. You know, the electric power board's Power Plus home program is going to make my home more comfortable, and it's going to save me money. I'm getting free technical advice and inspections, a free water heater, free temporary power connection and underground service, low interest heat pump financing, and my heating and cooling costs are guaranteed for 2 years. Hey, I'm in the home building business, and I'm building one. Call the electric power board for more details. Is this a great program or what?
Does the hassle of financial dealings give you nightmares?
Oh, no, not again. Lost to the left, checking to the right, saving straight ahead. Wait your turn, bud. Sorry. Hey, I'm tired of hanging around. I want action. Action, huh?
There goes another big bank customer.
Wake up from your nightmare with quick personal attention. Northwest Georgia Bank, my kind of bank, in Ringgold, Fort Oglethorpe, and East Ridge.
Do you remember that story about the 3 bears? This was too big. That was too small. And finally, something fit just right. Like the new J30 from Infinity. Now, that's my definition of luxury. It's a car you just slip right into. And live happily ever after. Infinity. Makes you want to take up driving again, doesn't it?
This is the $825 billion question. That's how much foreign corporations operating in the U.S. took in one year. But 72% of them didn't pay 1 dime in taxes. Not 1 dime. And George Bush supports tax loopholes for foreign companies operating here. Supports them so much that he attacks Bill Clinton for wanting to close them. Bill Clinton wants to collect what foreign corporations owe and put the money to work to rebuild America. Clinton Gore, for people, for a change.
No score first quarter. That's nothing unusual for Crimson Tide opponents this year, though. Alabama has totally dominated their opponents 64-zip in the first quarter this year. Derek Lassick on first down on a give from Barker, and that one's for negative yardage. That gambling Ole Miss defense all over the tailback. You see some celebration there from Artis Ford, number 70. There's 47, Lynn Ross, who backs up Dwayne Dotson at the inside linebacker. You know, Tim, this defense has had a couple of pretty big injuries this year. They lost Sean O'Malley, a nose guard, out for the year with a broken leg against Kentucky, and Gary Abide, who led them in tackles last year, inside linebacker, never has played this year because of an ankle problem. They will get a hardship on him, and he will be back for his senior year next year.
But they're doing okay in the middle, I think. They miss, there's no question about it, that they miss O'Malley just in terms of rotating people in. But they picked up Cassius Ware out of Northwest Community College, and as you mentioned, Dwayne Dotson, who's just a premier player. They're okay on the inside. Their problem on defense really is depth. And as the game goes on, they're not going to be able to rotate a lot of players in there, and they may wear down.
Palmer's in a slot with two other wide receivers. Barker looking one way, and he's got his man, Prince Wimbley, out over the 45-yard line and out of bounds with a first down.
Well, Abdul Jackson was running to get there, a linebacker underneath helping Danny Boyd out there on Wimbley. This youngster that we've seen play for 4 years out of Southridge High School in Miami. You see Abdul Jackson on his way, can't get there in time. And it's a complete pass for Alabama. Once again, Joe Lee Dunn not really displaying or exhibiting the blitz that has made him famous.
Martin Houston, the fullback, in motion. Here's Lassick following him, feeling his way just for a couple of yards out to the 49. Pretty good coverage by the Ole Miss Rebels, and let's get some field coverage from Bob Kessling.
Yeah, one guy to watch for Alabama, their tight end Steve Buskey. He had to leave last series with some sore ribs. Apparently he took a knee to the ribs. They've been icing it down. He's still walking a little gingerly and not playing really up to 100%. He's a very much a key, and they're not only their passing, but also in their running attack. He's a key blocker, and if he can't go, Alabama might have some problems.
Yeah, blocking's the thing. He's only caught 6 passes all year. His backup, Tony Johnson, a redshirt freshman. Second down and 7. Barker under pressure, and he will be pulled down from behind. Guess who? Lynn Ross again, who normally backs up Dotson, but really starters don't mean a whole lot on this defensive squad.
No, and on this particular pass pattern, Johnny Dixon and Tony Collier, they're doubling David Palmer. Danny Boyd's got Curtis Brown covered on the outside, and Lynn Ross chases down Barker. Good coverage by the Ole Miss secondary.
Palmer, the man downfield they were looking for, and he got taken out of the play by Johnny Dixon. That was the 19th time Barker's been sacked this year. He wings it out to the right side, and Prince Wimbley couldn't get there. And the Ole Miss defense holds again. Alabama will have to kick the football. Possessions changing like crazy here. We still have nearly 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Last time Brian Dio kicked it, it was for 47 yards.
Alabama has not been superlative on offense. They've won on defense this year as their offense develops.
Not a good kick, end over end. Jermaine Kahn on the run, gets away from one hit and turns nothing into about a 7 or 8 yard return after a 35-yard kick. So the ball changes hands again. Rebels will have it, tied back on defense. Scoreless game, first quarter.
Mike's the first guy that ever explained life insurance in a way that we could understand it.
Making things clear is the part of my job I like best.
He showed us all the options that Nationwide has and even helped us choose.
It's training, seminars and updates. It just never stops at Nationwide.
With life insurance, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And we know Mike.
Agents like Mike are Nationwide.
Nationwide is on your side.
Thank you. To all of you attracted by Buick's reputation for quality, but who think a new Buick is beyond your means, may I make the following suggestion? Go see the new Buick Skylark Custom. It is every bit a quality Buick. And as the most affordable Buick for 1993, it makes Buick quality more attractive than ever.
Shoney's introduces a new shrimp dinner that has a hot dipping sauce with a kick. Just as for buffalo shrimp.
Shoney's the place where you can feed your face, cause the steaks are great and the seafood great. Home-style dinners to boot with soup, salad, and fruit. Yow! Call an ambulance. Call a doctor.
Just over 4 years ago, the Ole Miss Rebels came visiting Bryant-Denny Stadium. And it would be a big day for tailback Sean Sykes. A 53-yard touchdown run off the old play 42 trap. That would be a successful one for the Rebels that day. Could they smell their first win ever in Tuscaloosa? The 42 trap would pay off again. A 13-yard Sykes touchdown run. Billy Brewer and his Rebels celebrating a 22-12 win at the home of the Crimson Tide. Took them 38 games in this series before they could win a game in this city.
And in that game, as I remember, we were here and they had done not much up to that point in time. They might have had 150 yards in total offense.
Chow's dropping on first down. He's looking up top and long. Double coverage down the field. And he's small, well covered by the Crimson Tide. Back there was Antonio Langham, the left corner, with some help from the free safety, Chris Donnelly.
Eddie Small out of Jacksonville, Florida. Last year, Ole Miss graduated some pretty good receivers. Vincent Brownlee, Derek Owens, Tyrone Montgomery, and Small's the most experienced receiver they brought back.
19 catches a year ago, 26 including one here today. Russ Shaw's only 1 for 5 so far. Second down and 10. Looks like he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage. He'll give to the fullback. And out over the 30-yard line is Marvin Courtney, averaging 5.1 yards a carry. Pretty good average for a fullback. He's carried the ball 39 times now this year, and he's right up around 200 yards for the season. Had a 10-yard gain earlier and a couple right there.
And he's a converted tailback that has done a fine job becoming a blocker for Corey Philpott. He carries the ball enough, but he can put his hat on you in terms of walling somebody out when Philpott's got the football.
Another third down play coming up. 3 wide receivers for the Rebels. They have to get the ball out beyond the 38. And they'll go to Philpott. Nothing doing. That's the second time they've tried the draw play on third down and long and have not gotten the first down.
And I think what they're trying to do, what Larry Beckish is trying to do, is to keep the Ole Miss offense from shooting itself in the foot early. Field position has been important for the Alabama offense, and Alabama is +10 in turnovers. They've done a good job of taking the ball away in must-pass situations.
Richard Chisholm from 38 yards. His punt came first time. David Palmer, the man, back to receive it. End over end. Palmer at his 26. Nothing out the right side. He'll go up the middle and get about 6 yards or so. Taken down by Damian Logan, a tailback playing on special teams after a 38-yard kick. Rebels still have some hopes in the SEC Western Division. The record of 3-2. Mississippi State is 2-2. Auburn and Arkansas both 2-3. LSU is 1-4. But an upset win in Tuscaloosa today, absolutely essential, or the Tide will roll toward Birmingham, unless they have a total nightmare the last couple of weeks. And they've got some good ball games left. They play at LSU, at Mississippi State, and of course the showdown in Birmingham with Auburn. Alabama with that 7-0 record, number 4 in the nation. They've won 17 straight.
Jolie Dunn blitzing on first down to try to shut down the Alabama run. Now he's got 3 down linemen.
Second down and 8. Parker looked right, now goes left. He's got Palmer, And he is covered immediately by Tony Collier, the free safety.
Great job by Tony Collier. Good read by Barker. He was about to let it go to the right. It was covered. He came back and hit Palmer, and then a great job by Tony Collier. Whenever number 2 has the ball in his hands, your heart stops as a defensive coach, and just a great job of wrapping him up by Tony Collier, because David Palmer is the most dangerous player that Alabama has.
3 wide receivers and a tight end on 3rd down. Barker escapes 1 man out to the right, too tall for Prince Wembley, and Alabama continues to go nowhere offensively.
Good coverage by Boyd and Dixon. That time they had a one-on-one on Palmer, and Barker could have seen him. He could have fit that one in there. Gene Stallings talked about the fact that his team might be a little tired coming into this game. They have not had an off week. They have one after this game.
They were coming for the block, and Brian Deal launches a beauty. Fair catch inside the 20-yard line on a ball that hung up in the air for nearly 5 seconds. It covered 45 yards, but under pressure, that was an outstanding kick. Punters have been on camera more than Bob Kessling in this game so far. And Ole Miss will take it over, but watch the pressure on Brian Deal.
Sometimes when you feel the pressure coming, you concentrate just a little bit more, and he blasted this one out of there. If Alabama keep picking up a few yards on this exchange of punts.
Yeah, it's been a gradual pushback of the Rebels toward their own goal line. Philpott near side, out to maybe the 20-yard line, so he'll get about 2, maybe a yard and a half. As all over him was Antonio London, that flamboyant left outside linebacker of the Crimson Tide.
Alabama's
one of 3 guys leading the team, Tim, with 36 tackles this year.
And it is really, everybody's pulling their weight on this defense. It isn't any one person carrying it, and they've got some fairly good guys that come in behind the starters. Real balanced defensive talent pool.
Single back set. London was across the line of scrimmage. There is a flag. Pretty good hit on the pass. Langham all over the receiver, Jermaine Kahn, but Antonio London out on that left flank went offside. There's no in between with this guy.
See Nunnerly exploding across. He's in there for John Copeland.
Offside. Defense. Repeat. 2nd down.
They also lost a great pass rusher last week, and Andre Royal that had knee surgery. So they got Hall and London on the outside. You'll see Lockett and Brown play during the football game.
Victor Lockett, a junior who backs up London. So now it's 2nd and 3. And the tailback, Philpott, knocked down in a hurry. Coming straight up to meet him was Derek Oden, the right inside linebacker.
Tennessee saw a lot of that last week. It was a great battle between that Tennessee offense and this superlative Alabama defense. And you'd have to say that the Alabama defense won the battle. All day long, Oden and Rogers upfield and shutting down a very, very powerful, prolific Tennessee running attack.
Ole Miss with 2 tight ends in on 3rd and short. They need to get a first down. They don't want to kick from back here and lose even more field position. Quarterback keeping, and he appears to be well short. Rush Childs had nowhere to go because Shannon Brown, the redshirt freshman, came up to meet him.
Let's watch this happen again. Running the option, coming down the line of scrimmage. They felt like Childs might have a chance because he's not really anxious to run the ball. They may not pay attention to him. They thought he may have an opportunity to get it upfield, but Shannon Brown wrapped him up, put him on the turf.
Richard Chisholm, his 3rd kick already. Hasn't really enabled David Palmer to return much of anything. He launches this one way up in the air, way back at the 22-yard line. Palmer on a reverse. gives the ball off. It's number 10, Tommy Jackson. He's over the 35-yard line. Now, how gutsy of a play was that on a punt that covered 50 yards, and they still do the reverse?
When you call it, you call it. You know, not necessarily what you'd like to see for this particular call, but it worked out fine. Great job by Palmer, who's a former high school quarterback, and gives it to Tommy Johnson. And you're going to see a great block by Roman Colburn. Boom, right there. And that enabled Johnson to get to the wall.
You know, Tim, when
great
you
effort
consider
by Ross to get there and keep that from going all the way.
When you consider that was a reverse, Johnson probably had to come back about 20 yards or so just to get the ball from David Palmer. There's Lassick out to the right side. And he'll crack it out near the 45-yard line. Let's talk a little kicking game down on the sideline with Bob Kessler.
Obviously, Alabama remembers last week against Tennessee. Tennessee's only touchdown was set up when the Volunteers almost pulled the exact same play, the reverse on the punt return. Alabama used it today against Ole Miss.
We can't get anything past the old Volunteer, can we? Thank you, Bob. It was 18 yards on that reverse return after the 50-yard kick. 2nd down and 6. The pitch to Lassick. Nowhere to go on the right side. Being pursued and taken down by Cassius Ware. Ware, a JUCO transfer from Northwest Mississippi Community College. Bobby Ray Franklin, the former Ole Miss quarterback, his head coach there, and he's got to be proud of that effort.
It's hard to tell whether this was planned or not. With the way he sets up and starts back right away and the way Barker is hanging around, you'd have to say that that was almost a reverse effort, because Ole Miss pursues so diligently and they're so upfield. Alabama probably felt they could get position on the blocks.
Alabama with another 3rd down play coming up as the first quarter comes to a close. No score in Tuscaloosa.
It's tough being a fan when your team isn't the home team, especially when I try to find coverage of my favorite team in the local paper. I'm lucky if I can find last week's score. But if you're like me, you'll be happy to know there's one publication that'll make you feel right at home. The Sporting News. You'll love the Sporting News, no matter what team you love, even if it is the home team.
Call this number now and get 4 issues of the Sporting News free. You'll get opinions and analysis, team-by-team reports, and coverage of all the college conferences, plus baseball, basketball, and hockey all year long. Call now and you'll get 4 free issues of the Sporting News. If you like them, you'll get 24 more issues at this great TV price. If not, just mark the bill, cancel, and owe nothing. The 4 issues are yours to keep.
So call now for the Sporting News, the publication that treats every team like the home team.
Call now and you'll get 4 great issues of the Sporting News free. Call 1-800-332-0300.
The SEC, 12 great schools with a history of excellence on the field, the court, and in the classroom. That's why we at Golden Flake are proud to be a corporate sponsor of the SEC in its activities like youth clinics and academic and scholarship programs. Golden Flake and the SEC, 2 traditions that give life in the South its unique flavor. Golden Flake, the favorite chip of the Southeastern Conference.
After being undefeated, Tennessee took an unexpected loss to Arkansas. And a week later, they found they could not beat long-standing rival Alabama. Johnny Major's team needs a win badly next Saturday to stay competitive in the East. South Carolina rallied to beat Mississippi State behind freshman quarterback Steve Tannehill. The Gamecocks are fired up and looking to upset the Volunteers next Saturday in Columbia. Don't miss Tennessee at South Carolina.
SEC football is brought to you in part by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. Bob Carpenter, Tim Foley, Bob Kessling, Tuscaloosa, no score. 2nd quarter underway with a 3rd and 9 for Alabama. They're only 1 for 4 on 3rd down today. Parker running and throwing. Parker rather to Palmer, incomplete. As already falling down was David Palmer, trying to grab the ball as he was going to the turf, and Ole Miss holds again.
Good coverage by Danny Boyd there. He's snugged up on Palmer. As you see the statistics from the first quarter.
Looks like Ole Miss has the nationally ranked defense with those statistics. And they aren't bad. They're only giving up 86 yards a game on the ground. There's Brian Deal to kick it again. Kind of a wobbly spiral. It'll hit at the 24 and get a tremendous roll all the way down to the 1.5-yard line. 56 yards, about 38 of it was in the air.
Jermaine Kahn in a tough spot there. Deal didn't hit it very well, so he couldn't get it on the hop. And once it's on the ground, the best thing for the receiver to do is stay away from it. May not, when you see that, yeah, he did the right thing. You just got to let it lay, and it's a good kick by Alabama. Ole Miss coming out of a deep hole.
Two tight ends in there, McLeish and Turner. And almost for a safety, Copeland all over Dew Innocent. Innocent, his first carry of the day, a 6'1" sophomore out of Pompano Beach. He was an All-American at Eli High School there. And he almost was brought down in the end zone by Copeland. They lost a yard on the play. They're at the 6-inch line. Second down and 11. There's the Tide dominance in the second quarter of play. A quick look, and this one is intercepted. George Teague has it. And he will be out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Ball was tipped by Derek Oden, the inside linebacker, and George Teague pulled down his second interception of the year, the 10th of his Alabama career.
Well, we talked about shooting yourself in the foot, and Shows lets it go, and a great job by Oden getting there underneath to help out those defensive backs. He knocks it up in the air, just like last week Michael Rogers knocked one up in the air that Chris Conley picked off, and field position, field position, field position.
First down, Martin Houston, nothing there. Rebels say, bring it right to us, Alabama. And he will be stopped at the 15-yard line after a loss of 3. I will call it a loss of 2 on the play.
Confusion in terms of substitution there. Palmer left the field and came back, and Houston went out. Got 3 wide receivers in the football game.
Second down and 12. And here they come. There's the sack. Right in the middle of it, Dwayne Dotson, Johnny Dixon from strong safety as well, and Lynn Ross.
What you really don't want to run against a Joe Lee Dunn coach defense, I don't think, is play action. You need as many guys as you can have blocking or looking at where they're coming from, because you know they're coming. You know, by the time Barker looks up, you know, he's surrounded.
That's 22 sacks by the Rebels this year. 10 of them have come in their last 2 games. And Dotson, who had 3 against Arkansas, now has 7. Third and 20. Barker up top, end zone. Palmer, touchdown! David Palmer with his first receiving touchdown of the year. And Alabama leads it 6-0.
If you're going to blitz, and Ole Miss is blitzing, as you can see, you just can't give a quarterback this much time. Good job of picking it up front by Alabama, and Jay Barker puts it on the money. Tony Collier not in a bad spot, but that ball was thrown on the nose. Good touch by Jay Barker.
Michael Proctor, 22 out of 23 with that one. And with only 2 minutes and 46 seconds gone in the second quarter, Alabama has struck. Barker to Palmer, 7-0 tie.
When my doctor said to start exercising, I knew I wasn't 25 anymore. But that's when I called Bill, my nationwide insurance agent.
Jim had some questions, so we did a nationwide care review. We talked about his financial plan, life insurance, disability coverage, even retirement.
Yeah, we covered everything.
It turns out Jim was okay just the way he was.
Insurance-wise, right?
Right.
The care review from Nationwide, because things change.
Nationwide is on your side.
Before we ship a new Buick LeSabre, it must meet an international standard of excellence. If it fails to meet a single electrical check, if the aim of the headlight isn't true, if the seams are not measured to the millimeter, we don't ship it. So if you buy a Buick LeSabre for its quality, you won't be missing the boat, even though it doesn't come by boat.
Take a look around me at a place like none on land. Sail away now, you'll find me.
Call this toll-free number now for a glorious 8-day, 7-night cruise to the Eastern Caribbean for as little as $995 per person. Sail aboard Royal Caribbean's award-winning Sovereign of the Seas round trip from Miami. Choose from 3 great sailing dates, January 16th, 23rd, or 30th. Enjoy all the relaxing beauty of the Caribbean. A full 8 days for as little as $995 per person. Don't miss out. Call now. Certain restrictions apply. Space limited.
You want a beer. You want it cold. You want it smooth. Introducing Colders 29 and 29 Light. Brewed its own way. Cold aged at 29 degrees to seal in smoothness. When you chill with Colders, you get a cold, smooth taste. Beer after beer. Cold, smooth taste. New Colders 29 and 29 Light. What else do you need?
Tennessee needs a win. They're off this week. They've lost 2 in a row. They'll be at South Carolina next week. So will we. 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. Volunteers of the Gamecocks. South Carolina plays a night game at Vanderbilt this evening. Michael Proctor on the kickoff. Mark Smith for Ole Miss. Angling over the 25 and the 30 and out near the 35-yard line before George Teague brought him down on the kickoff coverage team. A 33-yard return, and Ole Miss has decent field position, especially compared to last time. The turnover resulted in the touchdown by Alabama. A 22-yard pass from Parker to Palmer. We'll see what Ole Miss can come up with offensively. 11:41 to go, second quarter. Shows to the fullback. That is John Bell, a junior college transfer who backs up Marvin Courtney.
Let's go back to the last touchdown. Now you got to get pressure when you're going to blitz, and the 2 interior linemen, Brown and Ford, run into each other, and Ford isn't able to get around in that hole that you saw in front of Barker, and that left Collier running with David Palmer for just too long. Nice job of blocking by Alabama. Put 6 points on the board.
Pretty good catch by David Palmer. Second down and 8. Draw play. Due Innocent on the carry.
No question about it. He gets on the all-name team, doesn't he?
D-O-U. Due Innocent.
He's out of Eli High School down in Pompano Beach. 3rd leading rusher last year.
And the Rebels will face 3rd and 2. Thomas McLeish, their tight end, has checked out. They've got 3 wide receivers, 2 of them split out to the left side. Goes to the first man, and John Bell is tripped up. Mario Morris was right in on the play defensively. We'll see where they mark it. They had to get just beyond the 44 to move the chains.
Bill Oliver has done a fantastic job with this Alabama defense, and that whole staff. DuBois is coaching the defensive linemen and Ellis Johnson, outside linebackers, Jeff Rousey inside. And brother, what they call him here, who played on that 1961 national championship team. They've all worked together to do a fantastic job.
So Ole Miss does get the first down. They move the chains as the clock moves down toward the 10-minute mark remaining, second quarter. Got 3 wide receivers working out of the eye here on first down. Giles getting rid of it in a hurry and beyond the reach of Eddie Small on the near side. He had the footsteps of George Teague behind him. Incomplete. Great tradition, of course, here in Alabama. Crimson Tide has won 11 national titles, 19 SEC titles. It's their centennial of college football. They started playing in 1892.
52 yards rushing per game. That's what Alabama has allowed on defense, and Ole Miss has cranked up 45 already. 5 defensive backs in the game for Alabama.
Second down and 10. Some long counts. Shows to Innocent. Nothing there at all. And the nose tackle, James Gregory, was right there.
Gregory and Jeremy Nunley. When Copeland or Curry comes out, they put in number 73, Jeremy Nunley. And I mean, this guy's pretty powerful. Nunley drives him into Gregory. They were worried about the nose guard position here at Alabama because they were going with some inexperience. Robert Stewart had been there for a couple years, but they found a great one in the young guy from St. Louis.
James Gregory out of Sumner High School. He was an All-American there. 20% for Ole Miss on third down. And forget it. Now they're 1 for 6. Big play. Victor Lockett was right there. Jeremy Nunley was helping out as John Bell went nowhere, and the Rebels will have to kick it away.
Whenever I see number 73 on somebody that has anything to do with Alabama, you got to think about Bob Baumhauer, who was a great All-Pro for the Miami Dolphins for many years down there. Dolphins have really benefited from this Tide program. Don McNeil and Tony Nathan, Baumhauer, Dwight Stevenson.
Palmer back at his own 15. Chisholm with a low snap. Time to get it off, but it wobbles. Palmer will take it at the 13-yard line. Straight ahead, not a whole lot there. He'll get about 9 of it back, though. Even a bad return for this guy's 8 or 9 yards. Alabama will have the ball and a 7-0 lead with 8:12 to go in the first half.
Want to break a European's heart? Let him test drive a Buick Park Avenue Ultra for 2 weeks, then take it away. You see, the Ultra, with its supercharged engine, luxury appointments, and Buick quality, is built in such limited quantities, it's just not available in Europe yet. Want to break a European's heart? Let him drive an Ultra, then take it away.
It's showtime. Showtime. Hey! Whoa!
Outdrive your partner with this half-hour instructional video, free with a 1-year subscription to Golf Digest, just $19.77. Call 800-543-6200. Imagine the video and Golf Digest. Call 800-543-6200.
How do you have an instant party? Just buy a sack of subs at Subway. Take them home and serve them family style. It's more fun because everyone gets a taste of everything and no one has to cook. So if unexpected guests drop by unexpectedly or you don't feel like cooking dinner, pick up a sack of subs at Subway. We specialize in solving emergencies with food.
For more information on these and other fine sandwiches, visit the Subway near you.
Try Subway's After 5 special. All this week, get a free footlong sub when you buy a footlong and large drink.
Strength, defined as the power to resist stress, the quality of vigor, toughness, durability. Your Super 7 GMC truck dealers offer this and much more. They offer the strength of experience. Sale Auto Mall in Dalton, Crown in Dayton, Crawford in Lafayette, Moss in South Pittsburgh, Heritage in Athens, Superior in Cleveland. Newton in Chattanooga. Discover the strength of experience at your Super 7 GMC truck dealer today.
Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. We have an injury problem on the Alabama side that may be causing some concern. How about it, Bob Kessley?
Well, really, last week Derek Lassick hurt his right wrist. He sprained it in the Tennessee game. Yesterday at practice, I went up to shake his hand, and he extended his left hand instead. I said, "What's wrong with your right wrist?" "I'm just resting it for the game."
Here's the reverse. Prince Wembley around. He will get out beyond the 25, maybe the 28-yard line. Well, they'll need some running attack today. Alabama -2 yards rushing going into that play. They're averaging 241 yards a game on the ground.
Well, they run this play with Lee, and they run it with Palmer, and what they're trying to do is get something going the other way, because Ole Miss pursues so effectively that they want to try to develop some kind of a counterpunch.
2nd down and 5, single back set. They fake a reverse to Palmer, and then Barker is taken down. Johnny Dixon from strong safety was not fooled by all the faking in the backfield.
And the other thing that I think you have to be concerned about here, Bob, is that Lassick carried the ball 33 times against a very good Tennessee defense. He took some heavy licks, and I'm sure he's still a little bumped up and not feeling great. You'll probably see Anderson or Sherman Williams before too long in the game.
Did you see that Virginia score? They better not be thinking about Florida State next week. Trailing William and Mary. Parker, nice touch. Palmer has it out at midfield. Here's how good Palmer is. He was in heavy traffic, and he was still trying to make his cut to get open just as he caught the football.
It's against a 2-deep zone, and this is where you're going to hit it in the seam here. You like to get a jam on that slot. Don't let him run right down the middle on you. But a great touch by Jay Barker. We saw him play against Vanderbilt. He's a great kid, good leadership skills, a hard worker, strong arm, but I haven't seen a lot of touch from him until today. He looks like he's made progress, and Al Moore's doing a great job.
He's now 5 out of 8, 59 yards, 24 of them on that play. That play never really got off. Flags everywhere. Cassius Ware, inside linebacker.
Ball before the snap. Contact was made. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So Cassius came in a little too quickly.
Here's Billy Brewer. He played at Ole Miss from 58 to 60 for Johnny Vaught. Played on the team of the decade in 1959, team of the decade in the SEC. And his record at Ole Miss was 28-4-2. Pretty strong. And he's now been the head man here for 10 years.
1st and 5. And it's Martin Houston, the fullback. Couple of yards, maybe. Big number 88, Chad Brown, the senior out of Thomasville, Georgia, from that right tackle spot.
And that defense, we've watched him over the last 10 years, and one thing that you can say about him, regardless of who the defensive coordinator is, whether it's Joe Lee Dunn or whether it was Robert Henry or Carl Torbush, they've always fought you.
And flags again. Abdul Jackson.
Well, you can tell that Toby Shields is academic all SEC. Every time he sees one of those rebels in that neutral zone, he's snapping the ball.
Yep. This is probably the smartest offensive line in the country.
Ball. Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Toby Shields, academic all SEC last year. The guys to the left of him, George Wilson and Matt Hammond, both 2-time academic all-conference.
George Wilson is graduated already in history.
There's a little swing out to Palmer. Couldn't get inside. Fumble. And it looks like it was covered by an offensive lineman downfield. I think it was Matt Hammond, 63. So Hammond out there lead blocking, picks up the loose ball.
And a great job here by Dwayne Amos. You're going to see this. Get David Palmer the ball with as few people around him as possible. the play that Tennessee ran against Alabama last week, and great job by Amos containing Palmer and keeping him from getting to the sidelines. If he'd have got outside, he'd have been gone. He turns a 2-yard pass into an 85-yard touchdown.
A lot of all-purpose yards again today. Had 157 against Tennessee last week. On 2nd and 2. That was Chris Anderson feeling his way through. Anderson, a good, experienced backup to Derek Lassig at the tailback spot. Gained 492 yards 2 years ago, 213 last year, about 335 this year.
There's Gene Stallings and the trademarks of his team. They're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to stop the run. And they're going to always be positive in turnovers. The nation is stopping the run. They're second in the SEC and running it.
On first down, this one right down the sidelines, Kevin Lee. He just did a little dance right down the sideline. Got the first down, almost broke it, and he's out of bounds at the 13 of Ole Miss.
And when he breaks it, he can singe the grass. He holds the school indoor 200-meter record. So you put David Palmer to the other side, he's going to get the attention, and now you've got the speedster back to the sideline.
First down at the 13, Barker to Lee, cuts inside, he's down to the 5. Johnny Dixon knocked him down from behind. Jay Barker throwing with more confidence than we've seen him at any point this year.
And just low-risk passes. I mean, it's Lee takes a step and holds up. Joe Lee has got his guys coming. They're getting chopped at the line of scrimmage, and they really don't have time to get there anyway. That's 5 straight completions for Jay Barker.
Second down and 2. Look to the left side. Palmer looking for it. It's a little too far. On the coverage, Dwayne Amos, the right corner.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Palmer at quarterback sometime during this game. We haven't seen that at all this year, and he was a high school quarterback, and they lined up with him at quarterback a couple of times near the end of last year, and as Gene Stallings heads into the teeth of his schedule, he might want to have that option as a threat down inside the 20.
Third down and 2 at the 5. Single back set. There's Houston motioning. Anderson gets the pitch, cuts it up inside the 3, down to the 2, and that will be a first down. Good vision by Chris Anderson. Alabama now 4 out of 8 on third down today.
And Chris Anderson, saw him take one 96 yards a couple years ago. Fine running back. They always come up with somebody that can carry the ball here at Alabama.
First and goal from the 2. Houston and Lassig behind Barker. Lassig has it up, not over, so he walks into the end zone. The defense bounced him to the outside, and he took it in. Alabama leads 13-0.
Can't ask any more from the defense. Jackson coming up over the top. Waxon coming in from the side. Nobody grabbed him. Nobody grabbed the hold of his jersey. And Derek Lassig, the second effort, takes it in for 6.
Pretty impressive drive by the Crimson Tide.
And throwing the ball. What did I say in the open? They're never going to beat you throwing the ball. The analyst strikes again.
Well, they played the run very well, Ole Miss has. Right down the middle from Michael Proctor. 14-0 Tide. 2:44 to go, first half.
If you took 2 Goodies Extra Strength tablets and ground them extra fine, you'd end up with the very same pain relief formula you'd find in a Goodies headache powder. The very same formula that doctors preferred more than 3 to 1 over BC's. In fact, think of them as a Goodies headache powder that just happened to look like tablets.
Goodies makes you feel so good again.
Shoney's introduces a new shrimp dinner that has a hot dipping sauce with a kick. Just as for buffalo shrimp.
Shoney's, the place where you can feed your face, because the steaks are great and the seafood great. Home-style dinners to boot, with soup, salad, and fruit. Yow! Call an ambulance. Call a doctor.
If you want to move ahead in any career, you have to know what most employers want. Like how to work with a team, how to handle responsibility, how to take on a tough job and see it through. You can learn all these things in the Army, so when you do set off on the road to success, you'll already be in the driver's seat.
Derek Lassick, a 2-yard plunge, I guess you would call that. He sort of plunged, and it caps an 11-play, 77-yard drive.
That's like he tried to plunge it down the first time. This is like it doesn't go down the first time you pull the lever, you know what I'm saying? And then you pull the lever again, and whoop, now it's gone. Into the end zone. Great effort. My wife would say that's a crude example, but I'm sorry.
Well, that's Derek Lassick's less than crude 7th touchdown of the year.
If this wasn't fun, what would we do?
Probably sit home and watch somebody else have fun doing it. 5.5 minutes, that impressive drive. A lot of passing. Jay Barker, 5 straight completions on that drive. Mark Smith, along with Joe Woods, back to receive it. It's Woods at the 2. He'll angle outside. He'll get over the 30 again. Ole Miss continues to get pretty good kickoff return yardage. A 30-yarder that time. Willie Gaston, a right corner with the stop on special teams. We'll let you folks at home return this kickoff.
You'll be 4th ranked in the country. You have to have good kickoff coverage, good punt coverage. Whoa, that ball almost scooted out on Woods. That got his attention momentarily. Once he got that under control, he had trouble with crimson jerseys surrounding him.
Ole Miss only 51 yards of total offense today. Virtually none of that through the air. There's Dew Innocent. Good yardage on first down out over the 35-yard line.
And they've had their most productive plays on first down, running the ball right at them. Monkus, Holcomb, Melton do a good job up front, create a hole. They pop the linebackers out. Oden drags them down. That's not a typical Derek Oden tackle. Usually he imprints his face mask on your chest.
2 minutes to go, 2nd and 4. They'll go with play action out to the left side. That is Eddie Small over the 45 to the 47-yard line. Ole Miss has all of its timeouts remaining. Clock stops as the chains move with 1:53 to go.
Just for 10 yards, first down, Ole Miss.
Show's played behind John Darnell back in 1989. In the last couple of years, he's alternated with Tom Luke. And now he's got the show by himself.
First down out at the 47. Time in the pocket. Small down the sideline. He's got it, and he will score. Eddie Small took it right away from George Teague and high-stepped it into the end zone. A 53-yard touchdown play with 1:26 to go before halftime.
Eddie Small's been running the out pattern, and this had to come eventually. Gene Stallings kicks the dirt. Show's just laid it up. Good protection. It doesn't take long to throw a deep ball if you lay it up like that. Teague in good shape. In all SEC back at free safety last year. Led the SEC in interception, plays the ball as well as anybody, but he lost vision on that one, and Small makes the play. Ole Miss makes the touchdown.
And the conversion is up and through, and Ole Miss quiets the crowd here with a shocking 53-yard touchdown play. Rush Show's to Eddie Small. Show's 5th touchdown pass of the year.
Good job by Small, going up, locating the ball, and coming down. Teague is the defensive captain, a 29-game starter. You can't pick on either one of these Alabama corners, but Small makes the play. Good play by Eddie.
Now, Eddie almost high-stepped it into the end zone a little too early here. George Teague almost came back and tackled it.
Let's see. Yahoo! Great touch on the ball. Shows and the rest of his Ole Miss teammates running down the field to join the dancer in the end zone.
Shows had a 65-yard touchdown play earlier this year. Well, that one covered 53 yards. Don't forget, though, David Palmer standing back by his goal line for the ensuing kickoff. Brian Lee will kick it for the Rebels. And he will pooch it high in the air, far side, 8-yard line. And that is Chris Anderson. He breaks it near side, over the 30, out over the 35-yard line. A flag on the play. There's a flag at the 32. A 30-yard return. He had to run about 60 yards to run the ball back from the far side to the near side.
He returns 34 yards. There are flags on the play.
Holding. Oh, defense.
Holding on Alabama, personal foul, Ole Miss.
One of the things that Gene Stallings talked about was he gets more concerned about playing a game that he's supposed to win. Because the thing that he knows he's going to lose to a good team once in a while.
On the return team, back up 10 yards, spot the fall. After the play was over, personal foul, white team, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So what happens here, Gene Stallings will get the 30 yards on the return and then 5 more on the differential in the penalties.
What he talked about was being embarrassed. He never wants to be embarrassed, so he gets his team to play every week as Chris Anderson wheels it upfield and he gets his team to give the best effort every week, not take anybody for granted, because if we're going to lose any game, it's not going to be against a team that we should beat.
First down for the Tide at the 37. They've got time. 2 timeouts remaining. Barker, far side, Prince Wembley, out of bounds at the 37. Excuse me, the 42 of Ole Miss.
Oh, Bob Kessling told us that Jay Barker had a sore arm, and maybe he throws better with a sore arm. Good catch by Wembley, pulls it in right on the sidelines, but Jay Barker, the All-American boy from Trussville, Alabama, put it right on the numbers.
Well, he's getting time to throw, and he looks very relaxed. Barker now 9 of 14 for 108 yards. First down at the 43. Escapes the pressure. And he'll get about 5 yards on the play. 55 seconds on the clock, and it looks like Alabama will spend one of its 2 remaining timeouts.
See Chad Brown taking it up the middle. Lassick peels out of there for the dump, but Barker decides to run with it. Lynn Ross there on the hit.
Barker, previous to that carry, 45 carries, minus 38 yards this year. He lets Derek Lassick do most of the work. Martin Houston came into the game, the fullback, with 324 yards. That's how good their running attack is. Lassick over 600, and then 2 other guys way up over 300 yards. Martin Houston and Chris Anderson.
See Mal Moore, the offensive coordinator, talking to some of his players as you look at what Alabama has left.
Mississippi State hoping that game in Starkville on the 14th means something. Ole Miss probably has to win this one today for that to mean anything, unless Alabama would slip up at LSU. MSU has 2 losses. Bulldogs are 2-2.
Mal Moore, the offensive coordinator, was a player back here in 1961 when Gene Stallings was the coach, so those guys go back together a long way. A lot of tradition on this coaching staff.
Alabama now with 1 timeout remaining, 53 seconds to go. 2nd down and 4. Barker with lots of time. And the ball is out of bounds. Kevin Lee with the catch, but he was out of bounds. Good coverage by Dwayne Amos down there inside the 10-yard line.
And another good throw by Barker. You know, last time we saw him throwing, he was throwing more like a weightlifter than he was like a quarterback. But this got a nice touch on the ball, brings it in over the top, and he just can't get its feet down in bounds. The ball was thrown in a perfect position where either Kevin Lee was going to catch it in bounds or nobody was going to catch it.
60% passing today by Barker. Facing a 3rd and 4, he splits the backs. Out to the right side, and it's too far. Curtis Brown angling to the near sideline, trying the diving catch.
And Tony Collier right there. Oh, Danny Boyd right there with him. And that's a tough pass to stick in there.
4th and 4. The ball is at the 37. This would be a 54-yard field goal attempt. Michael Proctor's longest of the year is 46. That was in the game, the first game of the season. So they're obviously going here.
Gene Stallings is talking about going forward on 4th down against Tennessee, you remember? I got talked into that. That wasn't the smart thing to do, but I did it, and now here he goes again. Those linemen love to go for it on 4th down.
Barker throwing. Ball might have been tipped. It's caught by Wembley inside the 20. First down, Alabama with 27 seconds to go. A 21-yard play. They'll huddle up in a hurry. As soon as the chains get in place, they'll restart the clock.
Ruth Ann must have been saying a prayer on that one. Gene's wife is up here next to us in the booth. Good pressure by Ole Miss. The ball did get tipped and flutters down to Prince Wembley. Wayne Dotson tipped the ball.
The chain gang never did get down the field for the spot of that ball.
This is the same route that Palmer caught early. He's trying to throw it outside to Wembley. The ball gets tipped. Johnny Dixon is there and probably hears the ball flutter over his head. The fortunes of war.
2nd down and 10 at the 16.
That's okay. They've done a great job of coaching, but you don't go 17-0 without a few breaks.
Barker, quick look outside. Kevin Lee. He wants to get out of bounds, and he did at the 11. Right corner, Dwayne Amos riding him out. Clock stops, 17 seconds to go. They'll be looking at a 3rd and 5.
You're a lonely man if you play cornerback for a Joe Lee Dunn defense. Good job by Dwayne Amos, not getting sucked inside, knowing that the only help he has in this world at this time is going to come from his inside. Good job of wrapping him up.
On 3rd and 5, Barker into the end zone. Off the hands of Palmer. Very tight coverage by Danny Boyd.
Good play by Danny Boyd. They try to hit Palmer angling toward the corner. It's tough for a cornerback. Palmer looking back, the ball floating down. Boyd sliding around. A minor infraction, maybe.
Palmer was looking for the ball a long time before Danny Boyd was. That's why the contact was made. This will be a 28-yarder near the far hash by Michael Proctor. And the freshman out of Pelham, Alabama, has no problem with that one. He is now 14 of 21 this year, and the Tide gets 3 out of it. They lead 17-7 with 6 seconds to go in the half. An electrifying touchdown pass. And Billy Brewer's team right back in it. But it happened so quickly, it gave Alabama a chance to move down the field.
And they did a fine job of doing that. You know, Barker came on at the end of last year. It looked like he was starting to develop some passing skills, but he really hasn't look that sharp early in the year. But Stallings knows if they're ever going to move up from that number 4 position on in the polls and compete for a national championship, they have to be able to throw the ball with some degree of efficiency.
Well, there's nobody around this part of the country who thinks that won't be a pro-Alabama crowd up in Birmingham in December if they make it to that football game for the trip to the Sugar Bowl. So winning the West is their first step. They've got a great chance to beat whoever gets through to that championship game. Ball is taken by one of the upbacks. That is John Bell, a fullback for Ole Miss, and with that kickoff return, a 12-yarder, the first half comes to a close. It was scoreless after 1 quarter of play. A Palmer touchdown, a Lassick touchdown put Bama in control. But Eddie Small with a long touchdown pass from Russ Shows got Ole Miss back in it with 1:26 to go. And then driving it down and getting the field goal, Alabama now leads 17-7 at half. Let's get it down to the field now, and here's Bob Kessling.
Coach, give us your thoughts on the first half.
Well, we had to come in here and play a almost perfect football game and not make a mistake. We made a mistake down here coming out of the end zone with an interception, but it was 3rd and 20, and they got the touchdown. On the drive again, a big 3rd and 7 play, and then we answered it back and got back in the game at 14-7, and again made a lost the poise a little bit and got a 15-yard penalty, but. It's still going to be a football game second half. We just got to tighten up a little bit in the pass defense.
Have you been surprised that they've been able to throw the ball that well on you?
Well, they've got great speed to wideouts, and we've got to give them something. And they're a fine football team, but we've got to make it happen.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Billy Brewer, the Ole Miss Rebels, his team still very much in this game, trailing at halftime to the Alabama Crimson Tide, 17-7. Back with our halftime activities from Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa in just a moment.
The SEC Game of the Week is brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By Nationwide Insurance. Check the yellow pages for a nationwide agent nearest you. And by new Colders 29 and 29 Light. Cold aged at 29 degrees to seal in smoothness.
A few hours after they told me, I realized that a promotion doesn't just change your office, it changes your life. I knew it was time to call Tom, my nationwide insurance agent.
Barbara needed a nationwide care review. We talked about her coverages, updated them, even consolidated a few policies.
Oh, Tom had some great ideas. He even saved me some money.
That's what I'm here for.
That's good to know.
The care review from Nationwide, because things change.
Nationwide is on your side.
It's amazing how it grew and grew. That little company you started in your garage. And now you've got an automobile whose drive for quality matches your own. The Buick Park Avenue Ultra. With its supercharged engine, the Park Avenue Ultra is proof you still take pride in what comes out of your garage.
Mr. and Mrs. Ward have a little bet going. If she can install the ceiling fan, he'll put in the bathtub she wants.
Need some help?
So she went to Lowe's for a how-to clinic and everything she needed, all at guaranteed low prices, and he made sure Lowe's had all the plumbing supplies. Lowe's, helping add value to the homes on Raymond Street and your street. So now Mrs. Ward will enjoy her new fan
Need some help?
almost as much as she'll enjoy watching her husband install that new tub.
On December 5th, we're going to crown a champion in Birmingham. The division winners of the Southeastern Conference are going to meet for the conference championship and a berth in the USF&G Sugar Bowl Classic. Now, never before in major college football has such a championship fight been set. And if you want to be there to see history made, you better act quickly. Call 1-800-277-1700 now before all the tickets are gone. The premier championship game of the SEC. Don't you miss it.
Welcome back to Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. A key SEC Western Division matchup as Alabama takes on Ole Miss. Let's look back at what happened in the league last week, and what a week it was in Columbia, where a team in turmoil played terrific. South Carolina went looking for its first win of the season against Mississippi State, and freshman quarterback Steve Tannehill put the Gamecocks in front 6-0 on this 10-yard touchdown pass. Carolina came out of the I formation, and it was to Brandon Bennett's liking. He had 129 yards on the ground, and this 3-yard touchdown is Carolina 12-0 lead. Then they went for 2, and Tony Cates got it, and the Gamecocks led it 14-0. The South Carolina defense smothered Mississippi State, limiting the Bulldogs to only 96 yards rushing and made life miserable for Todd Jordan. Earlier in the week, the Gamecocks staged a revolt against Coach Sparky Woods, but Saturday, all differences were put aside as South Carolina pulled off a stunning upset, 21-6 over the Mississippi State Bulldogs, their first win of the season. Other games, Shane Matthews threw a couple of touchdown passes. The Gators beat Auburn 24-9. Over 97,000 fans were at Neyland Stadium as Tennessee hosted arch rival Alabama. The Tide, rolling along in a 16-game winning streak, took control of the game early. Derek Lassick on a great fake and great blocking set up the Tide's first touchdown. Lassick then spun Alabama into the lead, 7-0. Alabama looking for its 7th straight win over Tennessee. Got several big plays from number 7, their quarterback, Jay Barker. This 33-yard scamper on a 3rd and 12 kept a scoring drive alive. Lassick then took it in for his 2nd touchdown of the day, and Alabama led it 17-0. For Derek Lassick, a big day, his 3rd straight 100-yard performance. Down 17-0, Johnny Major's Volunteers mounted a comeback. Heath Schuler found tight end David Horn in the back of the end zone. A great catch, and Alabama saw Tennessee back within 17-10. Bama tried to run the clock out, but Martin Houston was stopped by George Kidd and fumbled the football. Heath Schuler and Tennessee had one last chance with less than 2 minutes to play. Gene Stallings turned things over to his dominant defense, and it came through one more time. Michael Rogers tips this Heath Schuler pass. Chris Donnelly comes up with the interception. Alabama preserves the victory. The Tide has won now 17 straight, and Tennessee has lost 7 straight to Alabama. Ole Miss had a big win. They knocked off the Razorbacks 17-3. And the Kentucky Wildcats won a game on the road in the SEC, winning at Tiger Stadium 27-25. It was homecoming between the hedges as Georgia hosted Vanderbilt at Sanford Stadium. The sellout crowd was thoroughly entertained by tailback Garrison Hurst. The junior upped his stock in the Heisman Trophy chase with another big day. This 55-yard run helped give Georgia the lead. They're calling Hurst the best tailback at Georgia since Herschel Walker, and he showed why.
Dancing up the far sideline. He is gone.
Huge day for Garrison Hurst. 246 yards on the ground. Georgia had a 10-point lead late in the game. But with all of Hurst's exploits, it was still Georgia's defense that finally had to control Vanderbilt's Marcus Wilson at the end of the game. They kept the Commodores out of the end zone in the second half as Georgia won by a score of 30-20 over Vanderbilt. The Shoney's Defensive Player of the Week in the conference is John Copeland of Alabama. The senior defensive end had 2 sacks and 4 tackles, leading the nation's top defense, Alabama, over the Tennessee Volunteers at Neyland Stadium. The Shoney's SEC Offensive Player of the Week is Georgia's Garrison Hurst. The 5'11 junior turned in the 3rd best effort on the ground in Georgia history. 21 rushes, 246 yards, and 2 touchdowns. First player in the conference to go over 1,000 yards, Garrison Hurst. The SEC Eastern Division looks like this now. Georgia leads Tennessee by a game. The Volunteers have lost 2 in a row. Florida still hanging around, as is Kentucky. Over in the West, Alabama still the only undefeated team in the conference. Ole Miss at Mississippi State 2 games back of the Tide. And we'll continue at halftime at Bryant-Denny Stadium after a word from the University of Alabama, Ole Miss, and a word from your local station.
At the University of Mississippi, students remain our top priority. Small classroom sizes ensure personalized attention. Ole Miss faculty members are leaders in their fields and stand ready to help students nurture and develop independent and critical thinking skills. Among publicly supported universities, Ole Miss ranks 7th in production of Rhodes Scholars. Developing minds and ideas for the next century, we are the University of Mississippi, a legacy of achievement with vision for tomorrow.
University of Alabama.
With a luxury car like the new J30 from Infiniti, you may be expected to drive with a certain decorum in public. What you do behind closed doors, however, is your own business. The new Infiniti J30 makes you want to take up driving again, doesn't it?
We tested in laboratories. We tested on the asphalt, in the parks, and on the road. We tested when it's 102, and there is no shade. And we found that nothing replaces fluids and minerals and quenches a thirst better than Gatorade. It's been proven again and again. But just to keep us on our toes, we tested over and over again in the highest court in the land.
Alabama's Crimson Tide leading Ole Miss at halftime. The Alabama $1 Million Band is performing here on a gorgeous day for football in Tuscaloosa. Alabama, of course, looking for their 18th straight victory. Ole Miss is in the game thanks to their offense, and one of the good players on the offense is Everett Lindsay, a former walk-on who's now developed into an All-American. Jay Stern has a report on the Ole Miss offensive tackle.
I just never, when I was little, I never really had that much interest in football. And I guess my friends just got me interested in high school. I was interested in coming in the Southeastern Conference and, going to several different schools and looking at programs. Most people told me basically not to come. And Ole Miss seemed interested. And I really liked the atmosphere, and the coaches were really encouraging.
Earning a scholarship following the 1989 season, Lindsay has not missed a start in the last 38 games, and he's anchored the offensive line in both the Liberty and Gator Bowls. The highest honor this former walk-on has received was being named the 1992 Playboy preseason All-America squad.
Just a great honor, through the years they've had so many great players, have turned out so well in the pros and just different personalities that have been through there. It's just a great honor.
It's not only football that's important to this 6'5", 290-pound lineman. Academics share an equally important role in his college life. Everett will be earning his BA in business management in December, and he has aspirations of being a restaurateur. According to NFL draft expert Mel Kiper Jr., Lindsay's plans for a restaurant might temporarily be put on hold because the NFL might just be calling.
Overall, right now, as far as where he rates as far as a senior, is probably one of the more versatile linemen, since he can play guard and has played tackle, and is playing tackle right now. But as far as the lineman overall, you have Lincoln Kennedy at the top, the great tackle at Washington, and there's a drop-off. He's in that second tier of linemen, probably figures in the second or third round.
It's no doubt that Everett Lindsay will have a long, successful career at anything he sets his mind to, be it a restaurant or playing football in the NFL. In Oxford, Mississippi, this is Jay Stern for Jefferson Pilot Sports.
One of the great stories in SEC football this year, Everett Lindsay, a preseason All-American, former walk-on. Alabama leads at halftime over Ole Miss as Lindsay and his teammates trying to figure out a way to get back in the game. Back with more at halftime after this word from your local station.
I'm David Carroll. Channel 3 and Magic 102.7 join the Junior League of Chattanooga in inviting you to Gifts Galore, October 30th through November 1st, here at the Choo Choo. Over 50 merchants from across the country will be selling specialty gifts, toys, artwork, jewelry, gourmet food, everything for the holidays and more. Plus, there'll be great entertainment and a food court. Join us for Gifts Galore, and the Junior League extends special thanks to these fine corporate sponsors.
Sure, your old gas furnace still works, but with energy savings of up to 40%, the Lennox Pulse 21 gas furnace makes saying goodbye a lot easier.
I'm Doug Ridley with True Temp Heating and Air Conditioning.
True Temp promises quality installations and service after the sale.
You can count on us.
Meet Doc Garner of Central Heat and Air Conditioning.
I stake my reputation on the quality of every job we install or service.
When energy savings a must be a Lennox.
Get it in gear!
Because the 93s are here.
At Economy Honda.
93 Accords.
2-door.
4-door.
Wagons.
93 Civics.
2-door coupe.
4-door.
93 Preludes.
And the all-new 93 Del Sol.
Incredible introductory prices at Economy Honda right now.
And if we make a deal, we'll pay off your old car no matter what you owe.
The 93 Hondas are here. Get it in gear.
To Economy Honda.
You may not think of yourself as an athlete, but the Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics knows that injuries don't always happen on the playing field. The center's team of skilled doctors and professionals provides a full range of services: evaluation, treatment, and rehabilitation for the competitive athlete and for people like you. The Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. We help you get back in action.
Final home game in Tuscaloosa for the Alabama Crimson Tide this season. So far, so good. For the Tide, they're leading Ole Miss 17-7, although Ole Miss has played them extremely tough. What else is going on around college football? Time to check the Jefferson Pilot scoreboard. Brought to you by Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. Stability is just one of our benefits. Other games around the country. Army and Wake Forest are tied now in the second quarter. Virginia is beating William & Mary 14-7. East Carolina has jumped out in front of Pittsburgh 7-0. Elsewhere, #1 Miami, as expected, rolling over Virginia Tech 31-0. Duke is leading Maryland early, and Notre Dame at home on top of the Cougars of BYU 7-0. Syracuse is leading Temple in the second quarter. Big game in the ACC. NC State on top of Clemson in the third, now 6-3. And in the Big Ten, the early game, Wisconsin and Indiana are scoreless in the second. That's our Jefferson Pilot scoreboard. Alabama leads at halftime 17-7. Let's go back upstairs now to Bob and Tim.
All right, Bob Kessling, thank you very much. A very interesting first half here. Alabama came in heavily favored, but Tim Foley, that Ole Miss defense has been pretty tough. And the total yardage in the first half is not a whole lot different between these two clubs.
They have really done well on defense. The Ole Miss offense turned the ball over early, put them in a tough situation, and then a nice pass by Barker to Palmer gave them a touchdown. But they played very effectively. Alabama has gone to max protect, quick hitch on the outside to try to get away from those 10 rascals coming after them.
Well, passing has been a bigger factor today than we thought it might be on the part of both ball clubs. Things got underway, no scoring first quarter. David Palmer, a great catch on a 22-yard throw from Jay Barker. And at 12-14 on this play, it was Alabama taking the lead as Barker had nice time to throw.
Good time to throw. The blitz did not get there. Collier in good shape, but a perfect throw by Barker and a great catch by David Palmer.
Alabama got the ball back, and then after a long drive of about 5.5 minutes, 11 plays, 77 yards, Derek Lassett took it in from 2 yards. He tried to plunge it in. There was nothing there for him, so he just kind of scooted around the outside.
He had a reject. Bloop. You know, this is not how it looks in the pictures I saw as a kid. Well, I'm back on the ground. Let me start running it in, and that's a good effort by Lassett.
Ole Miss got the ball back, and they needed to score badly. Eddie Small got it done on a 53-yard touchdown reception when he took the ball away from George Teague. It came with 1:26 to go before halftime.
And Showles just lays it up in the air and lets Eddie Small run under it. There's Alabama's best defensive back in perfect position. They just can't make the play. Tries to fight back and knock it out, but it's a touchdown. I believe it's the second passing touchdown against Alabama all year.
Eddie Small styling after the 6. They got the conversion. It was 14-7, and then it became 17-7 with only 6 seconds to go as an Alabama 8-play, 52-yard drive stalled, and Michael Proctor put it in from 28 yards. First downs, Alabama the edge. Rushing yardage, look at that. Alabama came in with 241 yards a game. They do have the passing edge and the edge in total offense.
But it's nice that they can go and throw the ball. I mean, I think there was a concern about whether they could survive if they were forced to throw, but they've learned that Barker can handle the pressure.
So those are our Ford halftime statistics. Teams are back on the field, third quarter coming up. Alabama by 10, and we're coming back to Tuscaloosa for more SEC football.
You want a beer. You want it cold. You want it smooth. Introducing Colders 29 and 29 Light. Brewed its own way. Cold aged at 29 degrees to seal in smoothness. When you chill with Colders, you get a cold, smooth taste. Beer after beer.
Cold, smooth taste.
New Colders 29 and 29 Light. What else do you need?
Excuse me, do you know what stock options are?
I wish I did.
The information you know you should know is in the Wall Street Journal's video guide to money and markets. This exclusive 30-minute video is free. When you call for 13 weeks of the journal for just $37, that's over 20% off the newsstand price.
Call toll-free 800-472-3500 for 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and your free video on money and markets. That's 800-472-3500.
When you don't have to send your package overnight, you can save yourself a bundle.
What a difference a day makes.
2-day priority mail service
24 little hours.
from your post office. Send up to 2 pounds in just 2 days for just $2.90. That's right. That's some difference.
What a difference a day makes. We deliver for you.
Jefferson Pilot Sports' exclusive coverage of SEC football is brought to you by Lowe's, helping add value to your home. By Shoney's Breakfast Bar, the best breakfast in town. By Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. Stability is just one of our benefits.
Ole Miss will kick the ball off. Alabama has David Palmer back inside his own 5-yard line to receive the second half kickoff. Tied by 10 at the half. They're trying to go 8-0, looking for 5-0 in the SEC with a win here today. Palmer is back at his 1. He's got some room up to the 25. He'll be cracked down right at the 30-yard line. Knocked down on the play. Looked like Mike Worley, a freshman on special teams with the stop. A 29-yard return. Worley. Let's go, Bama! The nose of the football will be right at the 30 as Jay Barker, 11 for 20 in the first half for a touchdown and 134 yards, will lead his team out. Eric Lassick ran the ball 6 times for only 8 yards. Not what we expected numbers-wise at halftime. Here comes Barker out to Palmer. They contain him very well on a good play on the right corner by Dwayne Amos.
Excellent discipline by Dwayne Amos. He just didn't bite on that inside move. If you're a wide receiver, you make that catch. What you're trying to do is get to the sideline. And Palmer has been successful at this before. And this is what Alabama has gone to. They're going to continue to pop it outside. Everyone, before it's over, they're going to throw the hitch and go.
There's one out to the right side. Kevin Lee on the receiving end. And on 2 passing plays, Alabama has about 5 or 6 yards.
And this is what you call take what they give you. As Billy Brewer said before he walked into the locker room at halftime, well, you can't take everything away from them, and so this is what they've decided to give them.
3rd down and 5. There's Steve Buskey, the tight end. Jay Barker, the quarterback. Buskey and 3 wide receivers in there. Barker has to run out. Left side. And the ball was caught out near the 40. Maybe close enough for a first down. Kevin Lee. There was an Ole Miss cornerback gambling on an interception there. And he was just a step too late. It might have been Michael Lowry, who backs up Tony Collier at free safety.
You can see Dwayne Dotson, number 33, coming up. He gets chopped by Lassick. Gets the ball off. And now Dwayne Amos moving on the ball. He's almost there in time. Kevin Lee makes the catch. It's a first down for Alabama.
Yeah, it was Amos gambling on the interception. On first down, Derek Lassick all the way out to midfield. Only 8 yards in the first half. He got more than that on his first carry of the second half.
He's got a high school player of the year in New York, his senior year in high school, and alternated with Saran Stacy for a few years, has had some injury problems, but he's stayed basically healthy this year and been extremely productive. 4 games over 100 yards. Second leading rusher in the SEC.
9 on that carry. And they call on the fullback, Martin Houston, for the first down. Got some good running fullbacks in this game today. Houston averaging 4.8 a carry for Alabama. Marvin Courtney 5.1 for Ole Miss.
The Arabian look on the sidelines for Ole Miss. Yeah, they've got some good running backs, and they got some great offensive line. Hammond, Wilson, Shields, Stevenson, and Patterson worked very well together under the tutelage of Danny Pearman and Jimmy Fuller.
Palmer in motion. He went one way, then the other, got the deep pitch. And he'll get down over the 40-yard line. It looked like that play was designed to get him back there and to have him with a full head of steam when he received the football.
Well, we saw basically the same play earlier when they pitched to Lassick, and now they've got Palmer going the other way, trying to get a little counter action in there as Lowry fights off a block and Dwayne Amos comes in and helps on a tackle. There's Mr. Excitement, the Deuce.
The last two first down plays, they have 9 and 8 yards. It sets up a 2nd and 2. Lassick nowhere to go. He is bear hugged by Dwayne Dotson. Dotson, a former Volunteer of Tennessee. He was a defensive end there in 89 and 90. They played some middle linebacker as well. In fact, he had an interception against Ole Miss that kept Ole Miss out of the SEC title in 1990. And then he showed up with his championship ring to play for the Rebels.
Sat out last year because of the transfer rule.
Right down at 1. Houston just trying to barrel his way ahead. Artis Ford had his arms around him. And Martin Houston at 5'10", 235, the proverbial low center of gravity, was tough to bring down. Dwayne Dotson was also in there gambling, trying to knock him off his feet.
235 behind Roosevelt Patterson, who's 295, and John Stephen, who's 280. Good penetration by Artis Ford, number 70.
On the 1st and 10, they let him come. Here's the screen. Anderson inside the 25, the 20, down to the 15-yard line. Chris Anderson, the tailback, on the screen.
But when you play man-to-man defense, you got to get somebody in that screen. And this time, folks are coming, and nobody is moving out there with the screen. So Anderson takes it out there, being escorted by Shields, 61. There you see 69, John Stevenson.
Michael Lowry finally in on the stop. Anderson has been a very good tailback here at Alabama. 1st and 10 at the 14. It's Anderson to the near side. Good coverage that time by the Rebels.
Chris Anderson.
Dwayne Dotson really has some ability. A very talented young man. And let's watch him pursue here. See Abdul Jackson, number 53, and Dwayne Dotson comes up underneath. It gets turned back into him by Marquise Thomas, number 94, and Dotson's there to put him away.
With that screen pass a few moments ago, Jay Barker has a new career high in pass completions with 15. He may want to wear that brace every week. He fakes, pumps, and into the end zone, intercepted as Prince Wimbley stopped the pattern, and Dwayne Amos followed the ball into the deep reaches of the end zone. Amos with his first interception of the year.
Good protection by Alabama's offensive line. Gave Jay Barker a lot of pressure. A lot of time. And he laid it out there.
So Ole Miss down by 10. Gets the ball back deep.
I took some nasty hits. But to get where I wanted to go, I had to be prepared. And I'm not talking about thigh pads, arm pads, or shoulder pads. I'm not even talking about a helmet. I'm talking about an education. It's your best protection for life. Don't just stay in school. While you're there, get an education.
Ford trucks, the best, never rest.
That's right. Only Ford truck offers driver airbags in both mini and full-size vans.
But there's a lot more to safety than that.
That's why Ford not only designs and builds trucks to meet or exceed federal crash test requirements, we also do special safety testing of our own.
We do what the government says, and a lot more.
The best-built, best-selling American trucks are built Ford tough.
Plan to fit her needs? Make it happen with the strength and stability of Jefferson Pilot, Insurance and Financial Services.
I can't tell you how it feels when you're way out there on your own tracking the bad guys. How it feels leading a skilled team that's the eyes and ears of the whole outfit. When all your training is coming alive. But finding those tanks and telling the air cavalry right where to hit them, I can tell you exactly how that feels.
Alabama had a chance to really take control of this game, but Prince Wimbley came up a little short on this pattern.
It might have been that. I think it was a redesigned coverage by the defensive coaches at Ole Miss that put Amos back there. And Barker tried to throw it away. I don't think he got it high enough.
Corey Philpott on first down with a couple.
You know, sometimes and remember now, Jay Barker's only been a quarterback for 3 years. And if it's not there, throw it away. But if you're going to throw it away, throw it away. Get it out of play.
Corey Philpott averaging just under 4 yards a rush today. They have done a good job of stopping a guy who came in with 3 100-yard games this year, including 123 against Arkansas last week. Giles will run it out to the right side. Pass is complete at the 29-yard line. Eddie Small has been his favorite target today. It'll set up a 3rd and short. Eddie Small out of Forest High School in Jacksonville. He's up around 50 career catches with his performance here today, up over 700 yards in his career. And with all that yardage, today's touchdown pass of 53 yards was only his 2nd touchdown catch ever. 3rd down and 1. It's actually less than 1. No wide receivers. 3 backs, kind of a reverse wishbone back there. And off the left side, they've got the first down as Marvin Courtney, the fullback, took it over.
And where do you go when you have to have it? You go behind your preseason All-American, Everett Lindsey. Alabama charging across. Oden penetrating there. And a nice block on Lemansky Hall to move him out of there.
Eric Curry got a arm out to trip up the ball carrier, but there was no way to stop him with only a foot to go. Giles on first down. Gazing for a long time at that right sideline. Eddie Small was covered pretty well by Antonio Langham.
Well, you're looking at the 5th-ranked all-time passer for Ole Miss right there, Russ Giles, and that's what you do when your man is covered. There was no way he was going to get that one in there. Linebacker dropping out underneath, Langham breaking on the ball, so Giles just said, okay, let's line up on the next play, see what we can do. Fired it out of bounds.
2nd down and 10. Small out to the left side with Jermaine Pine, and the ball is almost turned over. Chris Donnelly, the free safety, almost coming up with it.
Incomplete.
Donnelly is a big play kind of guy. He's SEC Freshman of the Year back in 1989 when he's playing for Vanderbilt. Lemansky Hall in Giles' face shields Donnelly from his vision, and he just can't hang on.
Well, that's 6 points right there if you catch it.
You bet. After that great year with Vandy, he hurt his knee, then transferred to Alabama, and They're fortunate to have him hit.
They're 2 of 7 on 3rd down. They throw a bullet screen. Eddie Small, he tried to cut out to the left instead of going straight ahead. He might have been able to get the 1st down had he kept running straight up the field. But he gambled, tried to break it, and they come up short.
Looked like he pulled something. This is almost the screen. Tennessee runs this play back underneath, and nice job. Now get upfield, Eddie. No moves, get upfield.
He slipped when he made his cut.
Might have hurt his ankle, but that should have been the 1st down for Ole Miss.
Richard Chisholm will kick it. David Palmer back at his 25. He can never forget about his game-breaking abilities. This one is a long one. Back to the 15. Palmer on the reverse again to Tommy Johnson, and nothing doing there. So Alabama will be back deep in its own territory. 17-7 the score. Bama leads it. Back after a word from your local station.
Your Train dealer has a deal you can't afford to miss. A free gas furnace. Buy and install this XL 1200 air conditioner and matching coil, and your Train dealer will give you this XC78 gas furnace absolutely free. A natural gas furnace means lower utility bills and warm air comfort.
Call Chase Heating and Air. Get the facts on the free gas furnace and how you can get low-interest financing through Chattanooga Gas Company. Don't wait. Call Chase Heating and Air today.
Enter Ceramic Tile Supply and enter a world of elegance. Floors, walls, countertops, baths, all decorated with easy care durable tile. Beautiful patterns from leading domestic and foreign markets. Our friendly, qualified staff can help you select that perfect design or help you choose from our complete line of tools, cleaning, and installation supplies. Ceramic Tile Supply, for 30 years, Chattanooga's authority on decorative tile and marble.
Ceramic Tile Supply. We have the styles for you.
Callahan Furniture Center, serving the Chattanooga area since 1946, proudly announces their new Highland Plaza location. Come to Callahan's, where you'll find over 400 different furniture lines, electronics from Magnavox and Zenith, and the largest selection of White Westinghouse appliances around. Financing available for up to 48 months, plus free delivery and convenient parking. Callahan Furniture Center, with 2 convenient locations, 5013 Rossville Boulevard and 3945 Hickson Pike and Highland Plaza.
It was one of the easiest decisions I've ever made.
This year, your Ford dealers introduced a new way to buy a car. The response has been fantastic.
One low price, no gimmicks.
It takes the guesswork out of buying a car.
The one-price Ford Escort. 4 different models, all well-equipped, all for just $10,499. It's a new way of doing business from your Ford dealers.
I got a great car at a price the imports couldn't beat.
4 Escorts, one low price, just $10,499.
My Ford dealer made car buying easy.
Sparky Woods up in Nashville tonight, getting his team ready to play the Commodores of Vanderbilt, but they'll be home next week. So will we. Tennessee at South Carolina, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central on these Jefferson Pilot sports stations. Our SEC game of the week next week, and we've got a good one going here. Alabama deep in its own territory, ahead by 10. And they pitch back to the single back, Sherman Williams. Williams, a talented sophomore out of Blount High School in Mobile. He broke all of Major Ogilvy's records there. An explosive young guy who will be one of the heirs apparent when Derek Lassick moves on.
Ole Miss has been tough against the run. They have really, really buckled up this Alabama rushing attack. And they've picked up some yardage, but at halftime they had 17 yards rushing. That's because they lost some on some reverses. They've been exceptional on the rush defense.
They go into the eye. Here come the Rebels, and they throw it out to Palmer. Nobody out there. It's a race. There is a flag on the play as Palmer gets out across midfield, but there's a pair of flags. One of them at the 14, the other at the 23.
When you put all your chips on one number, that's what can happen. Ole Miss gets lucky.
Procedure and holding. Gene Stallings' team has been on the verge of breaking this thing open 2 or 3 times. Interception stopped them last time, and penalties this time.
Gene's just trying to make a few points there with the referee. Great pressure, good hustle by the tackle to get out here in front of this, and now Palmer's one-on-one with a blocker out in front of him.
You know, that hurts because that was a block that was easy to make. There was no need to hold on that block.
Penalties accepted. More advantageous.
Oh, now the ball will be back to the 10-yard line. And it'll be 2nd and 15 back at the 10. Ole Miss looking for a big play defensively here. They've picked off 10 balls this year. They've recovered 7 fumbles. Parker screens it out left side. And out over the 20-yard line to about the 23 is Sherman Williams again.
They've got to get somebody in that screen earlier. It's developing without any opposition. You've got to recognize that screen, see it coming, those linemen out there, see there's nobody attacking at that point. Ware finally gets back into it, but somebody needs to get there sooner.
Well, that's good yardage. They need to get to the 25.5. So they'll need just over 3 yards here on 3rd down. They've been a 50-50 club in that department today. We're going to call it a long 2. Parker, football out. Kevin Lee has it. That is a 1st down as he clears the 30-yard line. This looks like Houston playing here, not Alabama. It's like a run and shoot today, the way things are going.
The cornerbacks are laying off and giving them this underneath stuff. And one time they're going to run the hitch and go. If they can get the cornerbacks to bite, they'll try to throw it up over the top. But Danny Boyd playing it safely. Lee makes the catch. Boyd makes the tackle.
Clock runs with 5:25 to go 3rd quarter. 17-7 Alabama. Parker on the screen to Williams. He comes to the near side, and he's taken down on good pursuit from behind by Chad Brown. But again, good 1st down yardage for the Crimson Tide. Ball's moving down on that sideline. So's Bob Kessler.
You know, George Wilson's one of the key members of the Alabama offensive line. His career was almost over a couple of years ago because of a hunting incident. His foot is still hurting. He doesn't wear any kind of special shoes, but he can't stand to wear brand new shoes. So what he does, he gets one of the managers to wear his game shoes around to class all week to break him in. The problem is trying to find a guy who wears a size 13.
Have to recruit bigger managers, Bob.
Once he finds a guy, he'd never say no, I'll tell you that.
2nd down and 2 play about to come off. And a timeout has been called by Ole Miss, using the first of their 3 second-half timeouts. We'll take one as well. 4:40 to go. Alabama on the move and leading Ole Miss 17-7.
A real sports coupe is more than fancy technology. It's the perfect balance between the needs of a driver and the needs of a curve. With a pure, focused performance that makes even the same old road seem new. Because it's not the road you take, it's how you take the road. The all-new 24-valve Ford Probe GT. Have you driven a Ford lately?
As the family grows, will your life insurance keep everyone sitting pretty? Make it happen with the strength and stability of Jefferson Pilot Insurance and Financial Services. When you've got a bad headache and you take a Goody's headache powder, you're in good company, because doctors in a recent survey prefer the Goody's Formula 2 by more than 3 to 1 over BC's, which is why you'll find Goody's in so many tackle boxes, desks, glove compartments, and medicine chests all over the South.
Goodies. All right. Makes you feel so good again.
The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyrighted presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Bob Carpenter, Tim Foley upstairs, and Bob Kessling, it's all yours downstairs.
We've documented the problems with Derek Lassick physically. Well, he's out of the game again. Apparently, he's still nursing that pulled hamstring muscle he suffered last week against Tennessee. Now, they say that they hope to get him back in the game. He's got a bad wrist, bad hamstring, maybe even a bad ankle. He's been roughed up the last 2 games.
All right, Bob, and things don't get any easier. They go to LSU next week. After a week off. They do get a week off on Halloween. Then they go to Mississippi State and then Auburn up in Birmingham to close out the regular season. And it's not like the cupboard is bare. They've got Chris Anderson and Sherman Williams to pick up some of the slack at tailback. Gorgeous day at the home of the Crimson Tide here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. 70,000 plus on hand. Good number of Ole Miss fans came over from the Oxford area and around the great state of Mississippi for this one. First down at the 48. Barker with a pump fake. He'll go up top, looking long for Palmer. There was some bumping going on down there. He was shoulder to shoulder with Danny Boyd.
Well, there it is. We talked about the fact that you would see that before long, the hitch and go, and that's exactly what it was. They tried to get Danny Boyd to bite on the short route. He didn't go for it. You see Jay Barker, he pumps it. Boyd doesn't bite. He turns and runs with Palmer, and it's great coverage by the Ole Miss secondary. It's okay to have contact as long as the ball is not in the air.
On 2nd and 10, it's Chris Anderson cutting it upfield.
Chris Anderson.
You know, we had a huge crowd reaction a moment ago. The only thing I can figure out is that Southwestern Louisiana must be leading Auburn. And that's what the score is, 13-10.
Got expert help up here.
Kim Anderson bailing us out. I had the feeling that was it, and Kim verified it for us. 3rd down and 8. Auburn playing down at home today. Anderson pulls it down. Nicely done. And he'll be wrestled down out at the 47. Problem was they needed to reach the 46 of Ole Miss for the first down, and the Tide will have to go with a field position punt here from Brian Deal.
Oh, he's got expert help. I've got expert help up here. I've got the former coach of Richmond and offensive coordinator at Auburn and Tennessee and Baylor, Dal Sheely, with me, who's now president of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He's helping me out.
And he's doing a great job. You've had more insight today than ever before.
I got an insight. Don't catch the ball down there, Jermaine.
Jermaine Kahn trying to return it from inside his own 5-yard line. A photographer ends up taken out on the play. That was a great kick by Brian Deal. 50 yards. Tough place to return. He got a few yards out of it with good balance. The photog got taken out on that play. And then we had a flag, a clip. Tim, isn't it amazing? When you make a mental mistake, it really comes back to haunt you, because then somebody else has to make a mistake to cover up for your mistake. There's no way anybody should be blocking on that return, because it should be no return.
Play ended. Personal foul on the receiving team. First down, more than 10.
And a personal foul involved in the play as well.
I think what they called is, you can't spike the ball, right? I think he spiked the ball when he went out of bounds. He was irritated with himself and fired the ball down. I think that's when the flag came out. The last time Kahn was back in that situation, remember the ball rolled dead on the 2.
Yep.
So I'm sure he was thinking, well, let's keep us out of that situation.
Well, we did see a clip signaled initially. They must have changed that. Good. And this is where Ole Miss gave up the interception in the first half, down at this end. Corey Philpott will run it hard out of there. He's out well over the 10-yard line. And out to maybe the 13. And they've got to get the ball out to the 24.5 to move the chains. 2:30 remaining in the third quarter of play. No scoring in the quarter. Alabama, like at halftime, leading 17-7.
Larry Beckish calls a pass down here. It's going to be a deep one. It'll be a long pass.
2nd and 12. And a pretty amazing catch by Philpott. He was just coming back to help out. That play will gain a couple of yards out to about the 14.5-yard line.
Well, maybe not a real long pass, but kind of a long pass.
I think that's the shortest Hail Mary I've ever seen because he was about to get hammered.
Right. Good pressure by Eric Curry, Lemansky Hall. Giles was fortunate to get rid of it. 3rd and 10.
Big play in the game for Ole Miss. Giles drills it, and it's too tall. Corey Philpott, the intended receiver. Antonio Langham on the coverage, and the Rebels will have to kick it.
Corey Philpott does a nice job of coming back toward Giles. I'm not sure that he was the primary receiver, and he was short of the first down marker.
Yeah, he was a good 2.5 yards short. Not a very well-conceived pattern by the Rebels. Chisholm will kick it. He's had a long of 51 today and a pretty good average. David Palmer, boy, he's dangerous when he's standing around midfield. Something could happen for Bama here. And look at the long kick by Chisholm. Palmer at his 35, trying to get outside. And he'll get almost up to midfield. I thought he was tackled, and all of a sudden he squirted loose again. Not exactly between the hedges here in Tuscaloosa, but we've got some foliage down on the field here as the seasons change. And a good kick under pressure by Chisholm.
The last couple of years really blasted out of there, and he got rid of that one just in time. Palmer comes down with the ball. Everybody holds their breath. It's for the Rebels because this guy can get into the end zone before you look around. Derek King misses and almost takes his head off, but he squeezes out of there.
Good field position for the Tide at the Ole Miss 49. Parker to the left for Palmer. Gets away from one man. Second man wrapped him up. Pretty good tackle out there by Dwayne Amos.
And great hustle by Chad Brown even getting out there. I mean, that's a defensive end who missed the tackle out there. They've got a one-on-one situation back into the sideline, and what they're trying to do is pop Palmer with the ball or Kevin Lee with the ball, get a lineman out there in front. This is the play they started the second half with, but great pursuit there. Helps surround Palmer and get him on the ground.
Now that time they followed it up with a similar play out to the right side. They've got Curtis Brown out there. It was Kevin Lee first time. He took a look that way, but he goes back to Palmer. A flag as Palmer reaches first down yardage, and you have to think it might have been a little holding on a block out there.
And this is just old-time traditional football philosophy. We're going to keep taking it until you take it away from us.
Not too many men up on the line.
Mal Moore trying to make Joe Lee Dunn spread out his defense, and so they keep whipping it on to the outside.
6-man line of scrimmage. Offense. Repeat, second down.
2nd and 3. We're in the final minute of the third quarter. Gene Stallings' team leading 17-7. He just can't get that last score he needs to really get a hold on this ball game. As long as it's a 10-point game, too close to call. Parker out to the right side. Nice grab by Kevin Lee. That's inside the 40 of Ole Miss. Looks like enough for a first down.
Perfect throw. The hardest throw in football. Oh, cut to the wide side of the field, and he takes a shot from Artis Ford. He didn't see this one completed. Sets his feet, lets it go to the outside, and boom, down he goes. Perfect throw, great catch by the sprinter, Kevin Lee.
Alabama's 7th first down of this quarter. Ole Miss has just one. Kevin Lee is over 50 yards for the day. And a rather late developing draw play. That'll push them back to the 40-yard line. And then Wilson gets into it with Chad Brown after the play. They had some words. What happened to this one?
Little delay here. Nobody blocks Lynn Ross, and he just kind of hangs on till Cassius Ware comes to help him.
Well, they've got some good-looking inside linebackers on this team. Ware, Dotson, and Ross. Ross, the only senior. 2nd and 12. Parker out to the left side, and that's Curtis Brown.
And a good secondary, too. This secondary is really working well together. John Neal's done a nice job with this group. Got 5 of them playing. They really haven't made any errors. They've done an excellent job of tackling people after the catch. The ball's being thrown in front of them, but they're being patient. They're not biting too soon.
And on that play, the 3rd quarter has come to a close. We've had 2 scoreless quarters in this game. All the scoring came in the 2nd period of play. So on to the 4th we go. Bama leads it 17-7.
If you want to move ahead in any career, you have to know what most employers want. Like how to work with a team, how to handle responsibility, how to take on a tough job and see it through. You can learn all these things in the Army. So when you do set off on the road to success, you'll already be in the driver's seat.
Take a look around me at a place like none on land. Sail away now, you'll find me.
Call this toll-free number now for an 8-day December 19th holiday cruise to the Eastern Caribbean. A limited number of cabins are still available, all at $500 off per cabin. 7 glorious nights, round trip from Miami on Royal Caribbean's award-winning Sovereign of the Seas. Call now and save $500 per cabin on this fabulous 8-day Eastern Caribbean holiday cruise. Certain restrictions apply. Space is limited.
When you don't have to send your package overnight, you can save yourself a bundle.
What a difference a day makes.
2-day priority mail service
24 little hours.
from your post office. Send up to 2 pounds in just 2 days for just $2.90. That's right. That's some difference.
What a difference a day makes. We deliver for you.
After being undefeated, Tennessee took an unexpected loss to Arkansas. And a week later, they found they could not beat long-standing rival Alabama. Johnny Major's team needs a win badly next Saturday to stay competitive in the East. South Carolina rallied to beat Mississippi State behind freshman quarterback Steve Tannehill. The Gamecocks are fired up and looking to upset the Volunteers next Saturday in Columbia. Don't miss Tennessee at South Carolina.
17-7. Alabama leads it on to the 4th quarter of play. Bob Carpenter and Tim Foley. How about this one? Totally unexpected what's happened in this game today.
Oh, no. Been great defense. Now, some people think it's boring. I love this. This is fun. Good secondary play, and that's what we're going to see in the 4th quarter, too, I'm sure.
Here we go. 3rd and 6 for the Tide at the 34 of Ole Miss. Parker, who's having a big day, has to wait. He gets it, and that is Curtis Brown. He almost breaks it. Danny Boyd caught up with him. Rebels went gambling again.
Well, you got to make a play on defense. You have to have that mentality. If I got a shot at it, I'm going to make a move on the ball. And Danny Boyd, who has been a 3-year starter for him, takes a chance here. It's a curl. Parker lets it fly. Boyd breaks on the ball, is just short of picking it off. Good concentration by Curtis Brown hanging on to it. Great hustle by Tony Collier getting there to get Brown out of bounds. That could have been going the other way.
1st and goal from the 8. It's Williams, the sophomore, inside the 5. Good yardage on 1st down for the Crimson Tide. They're on the verge of breaking this one open. Touchdown here and an extra point would make it 24-7.
That's what you think if you're on offense. On defense, you're trying to think of ways to take it away from Gene Stallings' Crimson Tide here.
Gene
turn into a big play.
He likes to spread the touchdowns around. Lassick 6, Anderson has 5, Sherman Williams has 3. And that one didn't get the end zone. Chad Brown really shot the gap, came around and grabbed Sherman Williams.
1 yard.
Alabama offensive stats today, very impressive. 220 passing.
Air Barker.
84 of those came in the third quarter when he was 11 of 13.
Good patience. Just delivering short, quick screen passes, hitches on the outside, nothing fancy, but it moves the ball down the field. Defensively, make a play once in a while, but you figure they'll drop one.
3rd and goal from the 1. It's Williams cutting up. Touchdown, Alabama. Sherman Williams, his 4th rushing touchdown of the year, and then makes it 23-7 with 13:28 to go.
Over there behind Patterson and Stevenson, and a great lead block by Martin Houston. Bang. Buskey helping out. And that was just hammered in. You know, they show you a couple little frames of a dance, but you're never going to see anything too extensive in that area from Gene Stallings' coach team.
Michael Proctor for the conversion. His snapper Johnny Howard and holder Jeff Wall did their jobs, and with 13:28 to go, Alabama trying to go 8-0, now leads it 24-7.
As times changed, so did the Ford full-size pickup. But it was always tough as nails, and boy, could it tow a boat. Today, it's still tough. But now it has more power, more style, more comfort. And boy, can it tow a boat. Times change, trucks change. But Ford Tough never does.
When it's finally time to retire, where will you play around? Make it happen with the strength and stability of Jefferson Pilot Insurance and Financial Services.
One of the biggest fans of the Southeastern Conference is right here, Ruby Tuesday Restaurants. And as its founder, I can't think of a better way to support SEC sports and academics than by joining the conference as an official corporate sponsor. And it's a great way to cheer on an organization started over 50 years ago. So for all the excitement in sports, let's turn to the Southeastern Conference. And turn to Ruby Tuesday when you're ready to relax.
Mr. and Mrs. Ward have a little bet going. If she can install the ceiling fan, he'll put in the bathtub she wants. Need some help? So she went to Lowe's for a how-to clinic and everything she needed, all at guaranteed low prices, and he made sure Lowe's had all the plumbing supplies. Lowe's, helping add value to the homes on Raymond Street and your street. So now Mrs. Ward will enjoy her new fan
Need some help?
almost as much as she'll enjoy watching her husband install that new tub.
24-7 Alabama on a gorgeous October afternoon in Tuscaloosa, where Bama has beaten Ole Miss 13 of 14 times. Almost half the field in 3:18 for the scoring drive. Proctor will let it go. And it is Joe Woods inside his 5. Check it, it's 41. That's Mark Smith. He's still on his feet. He's almost out to midfield and across midfield. Everybody was missing number 41. I guess I was the first guy to miss him, and then everybody else did. 48 yards on the return.
What a great return. True freshman. Antonio Langham misses.
and he just keeps trucking here. I used to do this in high school, folks. This ain't much different.
Yeah, but what about when
freshman.
people were trying to tackle you? Mark Smith out of Weston, Mississippi. What a great run. He runs a 4.340. And that one is knocked down. Looked like Victor Lockett. Lockett, 99. He'd only made 20 tackles in 2 years before he moved into that backup spot behind Antonio London.
When I was talking to Ellis Johnson, who's the outside linebacker coach, about Lachlan, and he's playing because of the injury to Andre Royal and gets up good. Saw John Copeland right there, Eric Curry. Those two guys are always around the quarterback.
Copeland, the guy who actually made the tip. And a little inside give. Due Innocent. Didn't get far.
He's good against the pass. Arm over, very effective against the run. A total player. Maybe not as flashy as Eric Curry, who was a Lombardi semifinalist, but just as effective in every phase of the game.
Ole Miss 2 out of 9 on 3rd down today. This is 3rd and 10. Launching one high in the air. And it looks like George Teague might have picked it off. We have a flag. Was the receiver being held?
There was a cornerback running with the receiver. George Teague was in a safety position there, coming from the middle of the field, and went up, played the ball beautifully.
This will negate the interception. It'll go against Alabama.
Probably going to call this on number 10, Tommy Johnson. Sam Shade gets a jam.
Yep. He stumbled into the receiver. Jermaine Kahn was the intended receiver. Tommy Johnson stumbled into him. And then George Teague came up with the INT.
Well, those are the 5 defensive backs that get most of the playing time. Tommy Johnson plus the 4 starters. Langham, Shade, Donnelly, and Teague. As you see Chris Donnelly chatting with Gene Stallings, who was a one thing about Gene Stallings, you know, he's pretty consistent. And he'll work the sideline, and he's done an exceptional job of keeping this team on an emotional, keeping them away from emotional highs and lows. Got a great relationship with the seniors, leaders on this football team, and he sure loves to win. And he's trying to get his 18th in a row here at Alabama.
First down at the 32. Take to the fullback. Option play. And Russ Shows, who had run the ball 39 times this year, from -10 coming in. The man on the carry. Pretty good execution there by the Rebels as they move it down to the 26.5-yard line. They need a touchdown here sometime before there's 10 minutes left in this game. They're at the 12-minute mark right now. Then they would still be 10 points down. Play action. Drilled out to the right side, and that ball is caught down around the 15-yard line on a great grab by Eddie Small. There's a flag, though, back at the 26. Good enough for the first down. We'll have to check the flag.
Defense. Penalty decline.
Shows sets up. Copeland tries to get a hand in it. Langham right there. Derek Oden, number 56, with a great drop. But Shows is able to stick it in to Eddie Small.
Say one thing for Russ Shows. There had been question the last couple of weeks whether he would be able to hang in there and throw the ball against a defense like Alabama's. He has. That was really drilled and an outstanding catch. Now they're down to the 16 with a first down. Option again. Due Innocent on the pitch. And he fights his way for a couple of yards. Copeland had him wrapped up. Sam Shade, though, from strong safety, really came up to hit him hard.
Shows had to get rid of that one in a hurry. Whipped it back. Nice catch by Due Innocent. And then he was surrounded by the Tide. Sam Shade, Birmingham, Alabama. Let's watch this come at you again. Good move by Nunnally. He's right in there. The blitz forces Shao to get rid of it. Now Shade. Pow.
Second down play. Shao is in trouble. Back at the 16-yard line, Copeland got it. Ball was at the 14, so it's a sack. Copeland came into the game with 4.5 on the year.
Alabama giving Ole Miss a little bit of its own medicine in terms of the blitz. Copeland able to grab him by the shoelace and pull him down. The pressure was on. Russ Show's never really had a chance to get anything going.
This is really 4-down territory for Ole Miss. A field goal does them no good. Under pressure. Ball was almost caught, almost intercepted. Eddie Small had it squared away, and then Antonio Langham almost picked it off. Good quarterback pressure by, oh yeah, John Copeland.
Who?
We haven't mentioned his name at all, have we?
London exploding off the ball. Copeland tries to peel the number off Show's jersey, but Show's guns it out there to Small. Antonio Langham almost went 85 yards with that one.
Well, they'll go for the field goal, a 32-yarder here. And it is stroked through nicely by Brian Lee. I guess Billy Brewer figuring I need 3 scores. Let's get the sure 3, and then we'll hope for a couple of touchdowns later. Still a long way to go.
You want a beer. You want it cold. You want it smooth. Introducing Colders 29 and 29 Light. Brewed its own way. Cold aged at 29 degrees to seal in smoothness. When you chill with Colders, you get a cold, smooth taste. Beer after beer. Cold, smooth taste. New Colders 29 and 29 Light. What else do you need?
Just about everyone in the Turner family banks at First Federal. Some more for checking, some for savings, others for their mortgage, home equity, or car loans, some for their IRAs, some for everything, and some, well, because that's where Mom and Dad opened their account. Smile.
So whatever you want, whatever you need, come be a part of the First Family. Yeah.
American National Bank's American Classic account is for people 55 or better. With the American Classic, your deposits earn interest. Plus, you get free personalized checks, and there's never a service charge when you keep a $100 minimum balance. You can also get travelers and cashier's checks at no issue charge. And you'll find discounts on travel and recreation and much more. The American Classic account for people 55 or better.
You know, working at AutoZone is more than looking up parts or ringing up sales. Most of all, it's listening. Because my customers know more about their cars than I'll ever know. They know every rattle by heart. I mean, that car is their baby. So when they've got a problem they're going to fix for themselves, I'm going to do my best to help them get whatever they need, no matter what it takes. Because people like that, they don't deserve anything less than the best I can give them.
2 touchdowns. That's what Ole Miss trails by here with almost 10 minutes to go. Plenty of playing time left. On the kickoff will be Brian Lee. He'll hit a line drive into the end zone. They'll bring it out. Anderson tells David Palmer, let's go 1st and 10. We're the guys that have the lead.
Good decision. You got to get help from your buddies then. He had drifted a couple yards back into the end zone. Of course, has enough speed to get it out. But Gene Stallings appreciates that intelligent decision. We talked to Larry Kirksey there, the running back coach.
Now it's Alabama's turn to eat up some clock. Backs are split. Parker will throw. That one appeared to bounce. Ole Miss saying, wait a minute. But the officials will give it to the Tide out at the 34-yard line.
Good job up front.
Now they call it incomplete. I thought the ball bounced.
Yeah, it did bounce. Good call. No catch. It's hard to fool those officials. They're right almost all the time.
Well, first of all, they're outstanding officials, every one of them. Secondly, when there are 7 guys out there, when there's some doubt, one of them will get it right. Great crew. Bobby Caston and his SEC folks do a great job of coordinating all the crews. They're working together as crews this year, not switching around. Big day for sophomore quarterback out of Trussville, Alabama. Second down and 10. Here's wing it again. It is just beyond the reach of Prince Wimbley.
Well, they've been popping the short ones all day long. This one a little bit longer. You know, it's the difference between this throw and the throw by Shows. There's a little bit more air under it, gives your receiver a little bit more time to adjust to it. He lets it go, sees what happens downfield. Yeah, almost.
And this could be a big play in the game. 3rd and 10 for Bama. They'll have to get it back to the Rebels if they don't convert. Parker with time. He's got a man, but it is short of the first down. Trying to stretch it out was Curtis Brown. Johnny Dixon was wrapping him up.
Well, Billy Brewer, as an old defensive back, has to be proud of the way his DBs have played today. Well, Alabama has caught a lot of balls. Most of them have been underneath like this one, and then they've done an exceptional job of making the tackle and preventing any additional yardage from being gained.
Brian Deal with the kick. Wobbly spiral, won't hang up. He gets another great bounce. And now it'll be taken by Jermaine Kahn. That ball wasn't in the air long enough for him to get under it and make the catch. There's a flag laying back at the 33-yard line of Alabama. Holding on the offensive team. .44 yards on the kick.
You're talking to Gene Stallings as they discuss this penalty option. Wait a second now.
Holding on the line of scrimmage. 10-yard penalty, previous spot, results in a first down.
Well, they gave us the wrong team. The preliminary signal was holding on Alabama. They pointed the wrong way. So, yeah, that gives them a first down. That's not a happy smile by Billy Brewer. It's kind of a mocking smile. He's not happy with the call. That'll put the Tide out at its own 39-yard line with 8:36. That's a big call. Ole Miss would have had it back.
When he gets their attention, he won't smile at them.
Joe Barker with another chance. Outside, ball is pulled down on a great catch. Number 37, Kevin Lee. Dwayne Amos, who's been in on almost every passing play today, on the stop.
Dwayne Amos has been man-to-man on Lee or Palmer, whoever's been out there. Good read by Barker. Excellent protection by Alabama's offensive front. Gave him time to get to his alternate receiver, and he put it on the money.
Suddenly, they're down at the 30. And a little swing pass out to Palmer, but there were flags on the play all over the place.
Once again, a great coaching job by Jimmy Fuller, who works with the centers and guards at Alabama. Toby Shields, every time someone gets into that neutral zone, he's snapping the ball. Boom. They give him another head pump.
No foul.
And they decide that Lynn Ross was not in the neutral zone.
And then Toby Shields went ahead and snapped it. There's Shields, 61.
He backed up Roger Schultz a couple of years, and academic All-SEC last year.
1st and 10. I want to give to the fullback. That's Terrence Lynch with his first carry of the day. Lynch, a sophomore out of Town Creek, Alabama, who had carried the ball 17 times for 70 yards this year.
Ole Miss plays with pretty much just using 12 or 13 players on defense. They don't substitute a lot, and they've been on the field a lot this afternoon. Played very effectively, but the heat of the day and the pressure of Hammond, Wilson, Shields, Stevenson, Patterson, Lassex, going to show on them before it's over.
2nd and 6, same ball carrier, tripped up again. Like Jack Muirhead got him. Muirhead backs up Marquise Thomas at the left end.
Lynch and right guard.
Clock running down to 7:05 to go. That penalty cost Ole Miss the ball and a couple of minutes.
Billy Brewer was telling us that Joe Lee Dunn on Monday, first day back at practice, his defense runs 20 40-yard dashes, and then they run one for every point they give up.
Whoa.
They got an incentive not to give up a lot of.
Parker to Anderson. He cuts it off. Very close to first down yardage. Depends on where they mark it. He appears to be right at the marker.
Alabama has been fairly injury-free this year. Looks like John Stevenson is a little slow getting up after this play. He's limping to the sidelines. That all goes together with having a great year. You have to avoid injuries. It's necessary. You can't lose a lot of good people.
Boy, Alabama really has been injury-free. He's a couple inches short. The only injury they've really had on their offensive line is Joey Harville, who backs up Hammond and Patterson at left and right tackle.
Parker fires it out there. Johnny Dixon makes a great play in the open field to bring him down. Chris Anderson a little frustrated with his inability to get Dixon to miss him, but don't worry, Chris. Johnny Dixon's a fine player.
4th and 1 at the 21. Alabama 1 for 2 on the year in 4th down conversions. Now we'll have an Ole Miss timeout with 6:27 to go. Alabama leads it 24-10. They have a 4th and 1 when we come back to Tuscaloosa as they try to put this one away and go 8-0.
You're right. Ford does build in toughness, but we also build in things that help you drive safely. 4-wheel anti-lock brakes are standard on Explorer and Bronco.
Built-in child seats are available on Aerostar, and both Aerostar and Club Wagon offer driver's side airbags. Ford builds tough trucks,
but we also build long-term relationships.
The best-built, best-selling American trucks are built Ford tough.
She's ready for college. Will you have a plan to fit her needs? Make it happen with the strength and stability of Jefferson Pilot, Insurance and Financial Services.
Shoney's introduces a new shrimp dinner that has a hot dipping sauce with a kick. Just as for buffalo shrimp. Shoney's
Denny's, the place where you can feed your face, 'cause the steaks are great and the seafood great. Home-style dinners to boot, with soup, salad, and fruit. Yow! Call an ambulance. Call a doctor.
6:27 to go in the football game. Alabama leads at 24-10. You know, they planted a time capsule here yesterday, and we tried to get them to put Bob Kessling's shoes in there. He's the most dapper guy here in Tuscaloosa. But, Bob, you've still got him.
Still got him, but they're going to try and get him after the game, maybe redig the time capsule. As you're right, yesterday at the Paul Bryant Museum just down the road here from Bryant-Denny Stadium, they buried a time capsule. They had Alabama uniforms from this year, play-by-plays, newspaper clippings, whistles, caps, anything related to Alabama football, even a football they buried. So in the year 2092, they can see how things were in Alabama football in 1992.
That will be their 200th anniversary, their bicentennial. If they win today, they'll probably bury the rest of the Western Division as well.
Good point.
4th and 1. Barker keeps it. It appears he's over the 20-yard line, which would move the chains, and Alabama will have at least 4 more downs.
Jimmy Barker, ball carrier, 1 yard.
Here's a surge from this is the Crimson Tide. Excellent job by George Wilson. And as Bob Kessling pointed out, George is just a great guy. Graduated in May and blew half of his foot off in 1989. Not only did he recuperate from that, but he's recuperated enough to start for a team that's rated 4th in the nation. Wow.
That ball out to the right side, thrown behind Tony Johnson. He's a redshirt freshman who backs up Steve Buskey at tight end. Marquise Thomas was up there shielding the pass, and NC State comes back to knock off Clemson 20-6 in the ACC. That's turning into one of those leagues now where nothing's for sure week after week. This figures to be a breather for Mississippi State. Arkansas State's 1-6 going into that game. 2nd down and 10. Give this to Anderson. He's inside the 20. Stallings mixing in some people. You see 5 Tony Johnson, the backup tight end, in there. He's got 88 Dabo Sweeney in there, who backs up Curtis Brown and Kevin Lee at split end. It's Pirates of East Carolina. How about that? Leading the Panthers of Pitt at the half. William and Barry got that 1 touchdown, and that was it. Virginia, 27 unanswered points, and they'll get ready for the Seminoles of Florida State next week. 3rd down and 9. The pitch to Anderson. Got away from the first tackler, the first would-be tackler, but not the rest of them as the Rebels covered well. You really can't say enough about the Ole Miss defense here today.
They've played extremely well, and you got to credit Stallings. Stallings is not the kind of a guy. He's in a race for the national championship, but he's not the kind of guy that's going to ring up 50 points. You know, he put the ball on the ground, kick a field goal here, but he comes from the old school, and he feels like he has a chance to be there at the end. He may have Miami in the Sugar Bowl, and he'll have his shot then for the national championship.
This one twisting to the left and missing it was Michael Proctor from 35 yards out. Now that is very interesting because it keeps it a 14-point game. Now, there's some emotion from the coach.
Look, I was about ready to feel good. Ruth Ann and I could relax, and what happens? This guy
pulls it.
Yeah, he did, and he had ice in his veins the first time we saw him. As the first time we were here this season against Vanderbilt, bang, 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 bang.
Ole Miss is still very much in this game. Of course, if they get a touchdown, they can go for 2. Then they would be within 6. They've got 4.5 minutes, though, and a long way to go. And they've used 2 of their timeouts. This one incomplete for Dew Innocent.
How Russ Show's got that out of there, I don't know. That came from under somebody's armpit. You know, I mean, he couldn't get it in over the top. He slid it through the side somehow.
One interception led to a touchdown. Then he answered with his touchdown pass. So those stats a little deceiving because 53 of those yards came on one play. So it really has been a tough day.
This defense has given a lot of people a tough day. Shouldn't feel alone about that.
Fumble. It's picked up by John Copeland. Right to him after the failed exchange. And that may snuff out any hopes Ole Miss has of winning today. They needed a quick strike, and instead they had a quick drive resulting in this turnover.
Big John wants to score. Let me go. Let me go. Help me up. Come on, let's take it in. Hey, Dirk. I want to do one of those dances in the end zone. Eric Curry and John Copeland are going to take it in together. Figure how they can split the touchdown.
Ole Miss with an injured player. That's Wesley Melton.
Joe Wickline's offensive line really can't afford any injuries either. 17-10.
Melton, the starting right guard. And a new quarterback for Alabama. Brian Bergdorf, redshirt freshman out of Cedartown, Georgia. He'll run it. He'll be inside the 15. He was a high school All-American 2 years ago when he finished out a career that saw him throw for 4,600 yards, rush for almost 1,200. He scored 61 touchdowns. And he's in there to spell Jay Barker, who had a big day today.
4,600 yards and only 5 interceptions. That's really something. Well, Joe Lee, if they get a touchdown here, don't make them run those 7 extra 40s.
Now, this one's the offense's fault.
Right. Well, we don't want to cast blame. We win and lose as a team, but
yeah, but when it comes to running, you stick together as a defense, right? Second down and 5. Houston in motion. Bergdorf running the option. Oh, and he was really stood up. Michael Lowry said hello. Lowry, a true freshman out of Macomb, Mississippi, South Pike High School.
Great athlete. He's one of the 5 defensive backs that Joe Lee Dunn starts on defense. Force it outside and pow. Plays off the block of a pretty big rascal, Mark Houston, 235 pounds. Good job.
Stood him up and spun him around. Third down and 6. They're at the half now down at Auburn. Southwest Louisiana, 24-10 over the Auburn Tigers. The play clock was running down. You could hear the fans counting it down, but Bergdorf didn't get the play off in time.
Ball before the snap. Violation of 25-second count. Offense, still third down.
2:51 to go. 24-10 Alabama. If this holds up, Bama will go 8-0, 5-0 in the SEC. Jay Barker with the biggest day by an Alabama quarterback in the last 3 years.
Working on that spitting a little bit.
Had only thrown
get that down if you want to be an All-American, Jay.
Had only thrown for 800 yards in 7 ball games. Third down and 11. Bergdorf rushed, running up the middle, down to the 10-yard line, and that's close to a first down.
They all get there at the same time. Zoom. It looks like Lynn Ross had the best shot. Marquise Thomas chasing, and Lowry once again fights off a block to make the tackle. Good job by Brian.
He must have grown since the first time we were here. You saw it 6'1", 175. On this week's depth chart, they listed Bergdorf as 6'2", 186. They must have a great weight room here.
I think that's one of the things they do concentrate on here. Maintaining strength throughout the year.
They'll get a chance over the next 2 weeks with an off day next Saturday, and Gene Stallings told us yesterday he's really looking forward to his team having a week off. They've been at it 8 consecutive weeks since September 5th when they opened up here against Vandy. Won a tough road game last week at Tennessee. Won at Arkansas earlier. Little Rock, not an easy place to win. 4th and 1. Bergdorf keeps. And that rugby scrum looks good enough for a first down. We do have a flag, though. Offsides on Ole Miss. If this holds up, the Rebels will fall to 4-3 and be 3-3 in Southeastern Conference play. Ole Miss has games coming up. They will be hosting LSU next week. Memphis State for homecoming on November 7th. Louisiana Tech on the 14th, and then they finish with their traditional game against Mississippi State. That'll be in Oxford on the 28th of November. We could be there. We don't know for sure yet, but we could.
Got a little break in the action. I'd like to thank Larry White and Langston Rogers for their help in providing us with all the information. They both do a great job.
Alabama SID Larry and Langston from Ole Miss. We appreciate it. 1st and goal from the 4. Pitch to Williams, getting outside. He will score. Sherman Williams with his 2nd touchdown of the day. He's their short yardage guy, I guess, with Derek Lassig out of there. A 1-yard run earlier and a 4-yard run this time.
His 5th touchdown of the season. He just takes it to the corner. Johnny Dixon trying to track him down. Can't get enough a hold of him to pull him to the turf, and Sherman Williams takes it in for 6.
Michael Proctor for a 3-touchdown lead. He didn't pull that one. Right down the middle.
It's the toss. Scraping to try to get there, but nobody can catch Sherman Williams. Dixon can't find the handle, and he never goes down. Zoom, 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 zoom.
That's the Sherman Williams Tuscaloosa belly dance after a touchdown. He's done it twice today, and he's put his team out to a 31-10 lead with 1:27 to go. Don't forget, we'll be in Columbia, South Carolina next week for our SEC action. Tennessee Volunteers will have another look at them. They're off this week after those damaging losses to Arkansas and Alabama, both at home. So Johnny Majors and company will go on the road. 2001 will be the song of the day as the Gamecocks take the field next Saturday at 12:30 Eastern Time. That's what they play over in Columbia. And we look forward to visiting the folks over there who've had a rough year, but things appear to be on the upswing. They're playing right now at Vanderbilt this afternoon. Other conference play. Auburn losing at the half. Florida was beating Louisville at last report. Georgia and Kentucky tangled in Lexington tonight. And Mississippi State is leading Arkansas State. Line drive kick. Handled by Joe Woods. Out around the 30-yard line. Ole Miss will have it with 1:18 to go after a 20-yard return. Well, is it over in the West, Tim Foley?
I think it's over in the West, Bob Carpenter.
The sun is setting on the SEC Western Division. Alabama will be 5-0. Ole Miss will be 3-3. Mississippi State 2-2. And Ole Miss has a new quarterback, Lawrence Adams, a true freshman out of Jackson, Callaway High School. He'll run it and throw it, and he's got it complete out to Eddie Small. Adams ran the option there last year, 821 yards on the ground, scored 12 touchdowns. Kickoff return, place kicker. He was an all-state punter.
and his talents and abilities are more suited for Larry Beckish's offense. He had great feet and speed, throws the ball extremely well on the run. So he's going to be, he could be the quarterback of the future here at Ole Miss.
They have a redshirt freshman, Randy Carliner, a left-hander out of Huntington Beach, California.
Also a very talented individual.
This one out of bounds with Adams carrying at the 36-yard line with 1:04 to go.
Well, they gave it a shot. There's some defensive backs sitting down together. Collier, Boyd, getting up, Johnny Dixon.
Those guys have really played hard today.
Dwayne Amos, yep. They've done fine.
They deserve a seat next to the fan. 3rd down and 5 for the Rebels, working out of the eye. Adams with a little play action. He gets out there quickly, and he will scoot to the near side. He needed the 39-yard line for a 1st down. Only problem is the yard marker was on the other side of the field. So did he know exactly where he was?
Probably not. So we got a 4th down coming up here. What do we got? 4th and 2, 4th and a long 1.5. McLeish, the tight end, comes back into the game. Go more to their short yardage look.
He needs a yard or so. Some of the Crimson Tide faithful heading home. A successful close to the careers at home of 18 Alabama seniors. At least here in Tuscaloosa. There's a pitch to Do Innocent. He's got the 1st down. He breaks it, and he might go, but he will be caught inside the 20, and it may have taken a face mask to get him. He was being chased by Tommy Johnson, and that may have been the only way to stop him, was to grab his face mask.
Adams gets it out there early, Innocent there. Chris Conley, and you don't see that real often. He swings and misses. Oden overruns it. George Teague overruns it. I mean, there's a bunch of all SEC guys running by Do Innocent. Good job by the youngster out of Eli High School down there in Pompano Beach.
Sometimes the bench team gets...
He said so long in a hurry. Ball down to the 12-yard line with 44 seconds remaining. 45 yards on that run by Do Innocent. His longest of the year. 1st down at the 12. Adams optioning left, throwing it back across his body and throwing it away. He was looking for Lee Thomas, a backup split end who was down there in the end zone.
Antonio Langham and George Teague in coverage. Billy Brewer would like to stick this one into the end zone. Not much room there. They have it bracketed. Teague out there.
Yeah, George playing a pretty good center field out there.
It was a great shot in the World Series. Those guys sitting in the bullpen when Lonnie Smith hit that one out.
Yeah. A little celebration time. Ole Miss hoping for a little taste of that here as they try to take their young players and push one into the end zone against an Alabama defense. "27 seconds to go." But it's not, you know, you don't have to cry for these Alabama players. I mean, they have a game with Auburn left in Birmingham. They'll probably play in the SEC championship game on the same turf. They will spend some time playing football in this area, just not on this turf anymore. They gave up better than twice what they usually do on the ground, but they made big plays when needed. 3rd down and 4. Look out. Here comes Lockett. And Victor Lockett sacks Lawrence Adams. He looks bigger than 6', 243.
especially if he lands on. He's out of Mobile. He's a converted inside linebacker. Now they got him as a pass rusher. That was just somebody made an error. Either Lawrence Adams had to get rid of this in a hurry, or somebody was supposed to block the other way. Wouldn't leave that rascal coming in there without a hot receiver to throw it to.
And Ole Miss uses its final timeout. If that guy's 243, you and I are 98-pound weaklings.
I think he's been lifting the weights.
Victor Lockett backing up Antonio London. He probably put on that show for Antonio after the sack. He said, man, I've been waiting for my chance, and here it is.
You're in trouble. I'm going to put the pressure on you now.
Well, Lockett will be the guy there next year, maybe, when London goes. They lose London, Copeland, and Curry from that front. The nose tackle, James Gregory. The right outside backer, Lemansky Hall, return. Rogers and Morris are only sophomores at inside backer, but Derek Oden will graduate.
But John Walters is backing him up, and he's a true freshman.
Yep. 4th and 12 here. Players from both sides across the line. Dew Innocent left his spot at wide out on the left side.
Defense came in the neutral zone. Offense raised up. No foul.
We lost a second on the clock. Not that it's crucial in a 31-10 game. 15 seconds showing on the clock here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And a 4th and 12 again. Let's see what Lawrence Adams can come up with here. He will wobble it out to the right side, and Eddie Small can't hold on. It was way short of first down yardage, and that'll do it with 9 seconds to go. Gene Stallings will be 5-0, the only unbeaten team in the Southeastern Conference. Best record on the other side in the East belongs to Georgia at 4-1. They play at Kentucky tonight. Tennessee and Florida both 3-2 in that division. Tennessee off this week. Florida hosting Louisville, non-conference.
I think he was congratulating some of those players coming off the field, but it was kind of hard to tell. He got that stern fatherly look.
Well, you'd have to hear him to tell, because you can't tell it from his actions. Even keel head coach is Gene Stallings.
You bet. Don't brood about a defeat too long. Don't gloat over a victory.
Well, they can celebrate this one for a couple of weeks, because they don't play again until November 7th. Alabama goes 8-0. Their 18th consecutive win. You know, they've now won 25 out of 29 since that 0-3 start in 1990. They were all over the coach then. He's the folk hero now. And a big day for Jay Barker. It looks like a bear. In fact, Bama is back. They've been back for a while. They never really went away.
Take a look around me at a place like none on land. Sail away now, you'll find me.
Call this toll-free number now for a 3-day holiday cruise from Los Angeles to Catalina and Ensenada, Mexico for as little as $295 per person. Choose from either December 18th or December 21st sailings. Sail aboard Royal Caribbean Cruise Line's beautiful Viking Serenade. A 3-day holiday cruise to Mexico for as little as $295 per person. Space is limited, so call now. Certain restrictions apply.
David Robinson.
Take the time.
Take a number. Take a hike.
Take it deep.
Take a breather. Take a shot.
Take it all.
Take a message.
Take the time.
Now.
The SEC Game of
of the Week was brought to you by Lowe's, helping add value to your home. And by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. Stability is just one of our benefits.
Alabama wins it 31-10. They go 8-0 on the year. It's a little celebration time down on the field here at Bryant-Denny Stadium this afternoon. And let's check in with some of the guys down there. Here's Bob Kessling.
One of the guys scoring a touchdown today, David Palmer. Great catch in the end zone, David.
Yes, I needed that to build up my confidence. So I think my confidence is sky high right now, and I'm looking forward to the week after next game.
They're calling him Air Barker today. He came out winging it. You like that, don't you?
Yes, I love that. You know, I think we're going. After the day, I think we opened it up for the running game a lot more than we've been in the past.
Is that the one thing this team has to do to be a great team?
Yes, we have to pass a little more than we have to be a great team. If we get that down pack, I think we'll national championship.
You look like you got a smile back in your face. Look like you're having a good time.
Yes, I am.
David, congratulations today.
Thank you.
Okay, John Copeland, Alabama defensive lineman. John, you guys put pressure again on Ole Miss.
Yeah, we're just coming at them. We plan on putting pressure on everybody this year. They're just another team in the way.
You got your game ball today.
Yeah, I got me a fumble recovery, and I decided to keep the ball.
This team, it was a game where they're talking about maybe the letdown today, but you guys came out very aggressive.
Yeah, people were saying coming into this game that we was going to look over Ole Miss and maybe a little relaxed. We're not planning on looking over anybody this year. We're going to keep playing hard like we've been playing.
Played hard today.
Say hi, Mom. She got on to me last week.
Anyway, thanks, John. Congratulations.
Okay.
Another big win for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. A big crowd heading home. Final game of the year here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. But it looks like the Tide will get to play close to home a couple more times this year, as they have a game with Auburn coming up in Birmingham, and then, of course, the SEC championship game, which looms. Now, I don't know about the passing attack, Alabama against Miami, but they could be meeting in the Sugar Bowl. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Todd and Discount Furniture House, 5813 Ringo Road, proudly presents Fortress. Beautiful living room furniture known over 33 states for its deep cushion, modular system, rich luxe cushion, and lifetime warranty on the frame. Many, many new fabrics to choose from and built on legs on each piece. Moderately priced at Todd Discount Furniture House, 5813 Ringo Road. It's out where we mark our furniture up just a little bit.
World-class Ford quality is built right here in the South. Now, Ford builds 5 of the top 10 selling cars and trucks in America, including the '93 Ford Taurus, a leader in styling as well as safety. Now, specially priced with a plan for just $248 a month. Drive new every 2 years, $248 a month. And every airbag-equipped Taurus is backed by Ford's 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Ask your local Ford dealer about the plan and how you can drive the 1993 Ford Taurus for $248 a month. Hurry, this is a limited-time offer.
Treat the kids to lots of fun. Children ages 12 and under are invited to come out to Eastgate Mall Saturday Halloween evening from 5:30 to 8:30 and go from store to store for treats. It's a safe and happy Halloween at Eastgate Mall. Meet Popeye and Olive Oil, brought to you by Chattanooga Cable's Family Channel. Participate in the Halloween costume contest. Enjoy karaoke and treats in the safe Eastgate Mall environment. It's all sponsored by the Eastgate Sertoma Club and Chattanooga Cable. For a safe and happy Halloween, no tricks, just treats.
Alabama wins it today, 31-10 over the Rebels of Ole Miss. And Tim Foley, it was a game that turned out a little bit unexpected as far as we're concerned, and maybe those folks heading home as well. They never dreamed they'd see the ball in the air as much as they did today.
Well, we pointed out in the beginning, they're right. They're not going to beat you by throwing. Well, they beat Ole Miss by throwing it. And they continually took what Ole Miss was giving them. The quick hitch on the outside, the little screen pass, all those quick passes, and they just stayed patient and stayed with it. Countered with a run every once in a while. Tried to catch Ole Miss over pursuing with several reverses that really never worked. Ole Miss stayed at home, and then they just wore them down.
And they played the good enough defense, wearing down the Rebels like they always do here in Tuscaloosa, at least this year. Let's have a look at the scoring summary for today. Things got underway in the second quarter as David Palmer caught a nice 22-yard pass from Jay Barker, and at the 12-14 mark led 7-0. Then it was Derek Lassie going in from 2 yards out, and at the 2:44 mark before halftime, Bama controlled it 14-zip, but Eddie Small caught a nice 53-yard pass from Rush Howes, and Ole Miss was within a touchdown at the 1:26 mark, 14-7. And then Bama got the ball back, drove it down the field. They settled for a Michael Proctor 28-yarder and a 10-point halftime lead. There was no scoring in the third quarter, so on to the fourth we went. And it would become the short-run Sherman Williams touchdown show in that final 15 minutes. He went in from 1 minute 32 in to make it 24-7. Ole Miss got a 32-yard field goal from Brian Lee to close it at 24-10 at the 9:57 mark. And then with a minute 27 to go, it was the sophomore Sherman Williams again in from 4 yards out. And the final score, Alabama 31-10. They had better than twice as many first downs as Ole Miss did today. Ole Miss outrushed Alabama, but the big difference came in the passing game today. And look at the time of possession. Sometimes time of possession is deceiving. Today it told a story.
It did tell a story, and they kept the ball by throwing the ball. Now that's what's really unusual. They ran the clock and maintained possession of the football by throwing short passes. There were drives that Alabama had where they threw the ball 10 times and really didn't average much more than 8 yards of reception.
Now, what's ahead for Alabama? They have 2 weeks off. Gene Stallings would never concede this, but the race in the West, it's basically over. Right. He plays LSU, then he, of course, has another ball game, and then finally Auburn. So how do they look at the last month of the season? Because really, right now, their work is pretty much done.
Well, with Mississippi State minus 2 quarterbacks, that looked to be a showdown. But when they lost to South Carolina, that eliminated the suspense from that drama. In LSU, Mississippi State, and Auburn not having strong years, Alabama should be able to get through the rest of the year. Then they're going to probably, well, there's no telling what's going to happen with Georgia and Florida. But right now it looks like Georgia in the championship game, either Georgia or Tennessee. And that'll be a great game no matter what happens, no matter what your record is. That's like a playoff game in the NFL. And you throw out the records at that point. Right. Then you're playing teams that can whip you. And in the Sugar Bowl, if things keep going the way they're going, hopefully it'll be Miami, and so we can have a true number one, or a true game for the number 1 position in the country.
And Alabama maybe passing as much as the Hurricanes. You never know if things go like they did today. Let's talk about some of the individual talent on the field today as we announce our JP Sports Players of the Game. And first of all, for Ole Miss, a guy who was just in on almost everything today, Dwayne Amos, very busy in that secondary. He had an interception, made 8 tackles, was in on countless other plays. And then Jay Barker, almost 300 yards, a career-high day. He threw for a touchdown. And as part of our Players of the Game Award Scholarship Program, Jefferson Pilot Insurance will donate $2,000 to the SEC, and that'll be distributed among its member institutions. We'll have some more coming up from Tuscaloosa in a moment. Folks heading for home on the heels of a 31-10 Tide win.
First time we met, I thought, he's cute. I'd see him on campus, and we'd talk. Then he asked me to this party on Saturday. It was a good party. But after he'd been drinking a while, he was out of control. And people are looking at me like, you're with this guy? I had someone else drive me home.
After being undefeated, Tennessee took an unexpected loss to Arkansas. And a week later, they found they could not beat long-standing rival Alabama. Johnny Major's team needs a win badly next Saturday to stay competitive in the East. South Carolina rallied to beat Mississippi State behind freshman quarterback Steve Tannehill. The Gamecocks are fired up and looking to upset the Volunteers next Saturday in Columbia. Don't miss Tennessee at South Carolina.
Welcome back to Alabama, where the Crimson Tide beat the Ole Miss Rebels today by a score of 31-10. And Tim, we look ahead now next week to Tennessee at South Carolina. That looks a little more interesting than it might have a couple of weeks ago.
It does. The players took a vote at South Carolina and decided that they should win. And they did. They went out and played a tough game against Mississippi State. And, you know, Sparky Woods and that crew is on the rebound. And Tennessee would like to get back to where they were, you know, to stay in the competition.
Well, Tim, we took a vote among the crew, and we will allow you and Bob Kessling to work there next week as well. Let's get it downstairs. A final comment from Bob.
You know, I think hanging outside the Alabama locker room down here, I think everybody is very encouraged by the passing today. Barker came out very confident. Of course, that was what Ole Miss was giving them. But everybody's talking about if Alabama can throw the ball and mix that up with the running attack, then I think that Alabama's going to be a tough team to beat. There is a concern, though, about Derek Lassick. He is really hobbled and banged up. Of course, they lost Stevenson, one of their linemen. So Alabama's a bit banged up. I think the open week comes at a good time for Bama.
Boy, does it. After playing 8 consecutive weeks and getting a bit banged up here today, those 2 weeks off will really help. Now, we say 2 weeks. They play again in 2 weeks, but they've got a while to heal up. Alabama wins at 31-10, and back with more from Tuscaloosa.
I've known Jenny since high school, so everybody agreed that it was up to me. I went over there. We talked about the party. I asked her if she remembered me driving her home. Then I told her about all the stuff she did when she was drunk. She got really mad, but I said, hey, Jen, it's me. You need to know.
After being undefeated, Tennessee took an unexpected loss to Arkansas. And a week later, they found they could not beat long-standing rival Alabama. Johnny Major's team needs a win badly next Saturday to stay competitive in the East. South Carolina rallied to beat Mississippi State behind freshman quarterback Steve Tannehill. The Gamecocks are fired up and looking to upset the Volunteers next Saturday in Columbia. Don't miss Tennessee at South Carolina.
Welcome back to the Alabama campus here in Tuscaloosa. You know, as people say, the spirit of Bear Bryant is back and the tide is back. They were never really gone, but now they're playing to the lofty standards they've gotten used to around here again.
Well, Gene had a rough start, you know, in the beginning 0-3, and folks were concerned about that, but certainly has pulled things together. He's got a great staff. The defensive staff has done a wonderful job of really melting this team together, and there is not a weak point in it. They can play against the run. They can defend against the pass. And offensively, it looks like Mal Moore's got him coming around. Jay Barker hasn't played quarterback for a long time, but looks like he's feeling comfortable with it now.
All right, we'll see you next week, Tim. That's Tim Foley, and for Bob Kessling, Bob Carpenter. That's it from Tuscaloosa, where again the final score was Alabama 31-10. Jimmy Rayburn, our executive producer. Our coordinating producer, Wendy Voigt. Today's game produced by Tom Hewitt and directed by Dave Burchett. I'd like to thank the rest of our outstanding crew here that brought you the sights and sounds of Alabama Ole Miss football from Bryant-Denny Stadium this afternoon as the Tide goes to 8-0, 5-0 in the Southeastern Conference. And a little dancing from Sherman Williams spiced up the afternoon as well. Coming up next week, we'll be in Columbia, South Carolina. Johnny Majors and his Volunteers against the Gamecocks, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central on these JP stations. Jefferson Pilot Sports personnel outfitted by Champion Products. And you've been watching Jefferson Pilot Sports exclusive coverage of